Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto Uzumaki decides to leave and no longer wants nothing to do with his family. Kushina abandons him and leaves the village. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Konoha. Here we are, in the land of fire, as we head to a village called Konoha, known as the Leaf Village. A village full of shinobis and kunoichis where they are dependent on their strict teachings and teamwork. Our story isn't about the village, it is about a shunned boy who is neglected by his own parents for his brother and sister. Kushina Uzumaki, Yuzu's princess and former Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, gave birth to triplets. Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki was the firstborn, then the second-born Menma Namikaze Uzumaki, third-born Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. These three were the children of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage of Konoha, and Kushina Uzumaki. Both Menma and Naruto hold the Nine Tails due to Minato splitting both Kyubis and sealed them into his second son and daughter. You see, what happened was, a masked man had attacked Konoha by unsealing the Kyubi out of Kushina right after she gave birth to her triplets, and controlled the Kyubi to attack Konoha and destroy everything, killing lots of people who were caught in the fox's way. Minato had fought the man head-on and took his son and daughter along with the fox. He summoned the Shinigami to split the Kyubi into two and seal them both into his son Menma and Naruto. After the deed was done, Minato was spared by the Shinigami so that he could live with his family, and after that Minato had declared that both his son and daughter are heroes for holding the Kyubi at bay. Of course, the villagers decided to worship and love their heroes. Our firstborn is currently looking out the window watching his parents train his brother and sister, saddened and heartbroken that he wasn't shown that much attention. He didn't understand why was his brother and sister getting more attention than him? Why were they training and he wasn't? Lowering his head with a sad sigh, he decides to leave the house and go be alone. He was treated like an outcast and wasn't as important as his brother and sister. Shunned by many in the village, except Hinata Hyuga, who he saved from the Kumo ambassador who attempted to kidnap her. Hinata was forever in his debt, and wanted to be his friend. Hitomi, friend of Kushina, approved same with Hayashi, and told Minato and Kushina about the incident. They gave Naruto little praise for what he's done. He hardly had any friends. Hinata was his only. Our 8-year-old lonely boy was on the Hokage monument, watching the view with lots of questions on his mind. Do his parents even know he existed? Hell, even his own godparents show his siblings more attention. More questions going through his head as he looked up at the sky. A week later. It indeed has been a week since Naruto had been wandering alone. His parents would take his siblings out while he was left. Even his godparents took his siblings out to train. I wish I had someone who would show me attention and love. I wish I was just as important as my siblings. Please, Kami, hear my wish, Naruto said in prayer, looking out the window, bored out of his mind. Elsewhere in the west, finally had been free of her accused prison. Hakashako-sama, the 8-feet-tall woman, had indeed been out taking away young victims and killing them as of late. Same with killing monks. Had she recently slaughtered group of monks who stood in her way. She flicked the blood off her Nodachi sword. She raised her hand as a white bubble glowed around her fist and hit the air, making it crack, causing a tremor to hit directly at a monk temple, destroying it on the spot. Now satisfied after killing 56 monks this week and killing 75 children, Hakashako-sama looked up at the sky looking confused. She's never felt confused. Her gaze was fixated on the east, as if something was calling her, a presence calling her, a disturbance that told her that a young presence calls her. Why was this unknown disturbance calling her? And it seemed childlike. That confused her greatly. A child presence wants her? Does this said child even know what she is? Deciding to sheath her sword, she decides to go to the east and see her suspicions and see this child. She decided to walk and head for the east. Back in Konoha. So what's the plan for the kids? Minato asked Jiraiya, his sensei, who is a Sannin. Well, for their birthday I plan on making Menma the clan heir. You still taking Menma as an apprentice? Asked Minato, with Jiraiya nodding and smiling. Of course I'll take the brat as an apprentice. Jiraiya beamed. Perfect. Knowing Tsunade just may take Naruto as an apprentice and teach her, Minato said while both him and Jiraiya smiled along with Tsunade, who smirked. Kushina at this point was with Menma and Naruto, treating them to ramen. The Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at them with disapproval on his aged face. Ahem, he said, with the three now turning their attention on him. Minato, what about your firstborn? Your son Naruto? What do you have planned for him? The old Kage said, frowning. Naruto? Nothing really, he's not ready to join his brother and sister yet, answered Minato, with the Sandaime releasing light ki. Whatever do you mean, not ready? Surely he should be ready? The Sandaime asked, frowning. Sensei, Menma and Naruto has to be trained. They both hold the Kyubi within them. Naruto doesn't, hence why me and Tsunadeheim are training them. Cut in Jiraiya, with his sensei now glaring. So just because they have the Kyubi within them, Naruto still can't be trained? Sarutobi said with a piercing glare, with both his students and Minato feeling shivers down their spine from the professor's stare. Sensei, please hear us out on why me and Minato are doing this. The great Toad Elder foretold a prophecy that is about to unravel, and both of Minato's children are in the center of it. We have to train them for the sake of the village. The great Toad Elder foretold that a great evil will come from the west and start a conquest here in the east, and it is up to Menma and Naruto together to fight this great evil that is about to come and change things here in the east in its own image. Jiraiya explained, defending him and Minato, but Hiruzen looked livid. So you're basically neglecting Naruto for his brother and sister? And how do you know if the prophecy does come true? Hiruzen, still with a glare, with the three wincing. Sarutobi, I know you don't like this any more than we do, but it's for the sake of the village if not the world. Someday we will focus on Naruto's training, right now we have to focus on his brother and sister. Minato said, hoping the Sandaime could see reason. Unfortunately, the Sandaime stood up with a look of disappointment on his face. You better pray to Kami that Naruto doesn't wind up becoming scorned because of your idiocy, Minato. You too, Jiraiya. What says you, Tsunade? Surely you wouldn't go through with this? After all, Naruto is your godson too. Hiruzen said with disappointment in his voice, with both men looking like they've been slapped in the face. Sarutobi-sensei, as much as I don't like this either, but think about preparing Naruto-chan to face this great evil that is coming. Tsunade said with the Sandaime glaring at her. I'm ashamed of all of you. I'm sure Mito Uzumaki and your great-grand-uncle and great-grandfather would be very ashamed of you, Tsunade. I don't know what Kushina would think, but Mito would be disappointed in her also. If Orochimaru hadn't turned evil, he would have agreed with me on this, said Sarutobi Hiruzen as he walked out the office, unable to see their faces, leaving them shocked. Minato felt conflicted about this, having heard what the Sandaime said and that he wouldn't agree to their plan. Was he doing the right thing? Kid, don't worry. Sensei will come around, just give him some time, Jiraiya assured. Minato looked down, nodding slightly. The next day, Naruto would be sitting with Hinata, both sitting on a field alone looking at the sky. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Hinata had asked. She didn't need her Byakugan to see through his mask, which she is aware he is wearing. I am fine, Hinata-chan, he answered, but she frowned lightly. Naruto-kun, you know you don't have to lie, she pointed out, seeing him sigh, knowing she was right. No, I'm not okay, Hina-chan. It's just I don't get or understand why my parents giving so much attention to my brother and sister, and they act like I don't exist. Every time I try to get their attention, they either ignore me or brush me off to something else. They train Menma and Naruto every day, including my own godparents. I just feel like they've forgotten about me and don't even want to train me, Naruto said sadly, with Hinata also looking saddened at that. She wondered, should she bring this up to her mother and father, because this isn't right. Naruto-kun shouldn't be saddened, and his parents should start showing him love and affection. There, Naruto-kun, I'm sure they haven't forgotten you entirely, said Hinata, putting a hand on his shoulder. And at that moment Naruto's brother Menma showed up. Hinata-chan, there you are. Why are you with this loser? Come hang with me, Menma said, causing Hinata to surprisingly glare at him. No thanks. Can't you see I'm with him now? Hinata said, seeing him frown. What do you see in that hopeless loser? He's not even a clan heir. Which will be me soon, Menma said, with both Naruto and Hinata widening their eyes. Hold on, I'm the firstborn. It should go to me, Naruto said, standing up. Oh, like you can ever be clan heir. You haven't been trained yet. Father is making me clan heir on our birthday, brother, not you, Menma said with a smug look as Naruto's mask was slowly cracking. After hearing that, Naruto started to walk away. That's right, walk away, Menma said, now with his attention on Hinata, who also walked away. Where do you think you're going, Hina-chan? That loser is leaving, Menma said, with her looking at him with rare anger. I'm going home. She spoke rather coldly at him as she continued to walk her way home. Namike's house. Naruto came home with a depressed look after learning that he is losing his clan heir status. He decided to go upstairs and get in bed. As he decided to sleep, dreamscape. Now in his own dream, looking sadly as rain clouds appeared in his dream, raining, with thunder booming in the sky. Feeling very depressed and saddened. That was until it stopped raining, looking confused. He heard a strange sound he has never heard of before. P-p-p-p voice chanted. Raising a brow and looking more confused, he stood up from his position and followed the source of that sound. P-p-p-p-p-p-p. When he got there, he saw a wall hedge, and behind it was a tall woman, wearing a straw hat, as she opened her dark blue eye, meeting eye to eye with Naruto. Naruto couldn't believe how beautiful she looked. She's huge. Who is she? Thought Naruto, and was wondering why was this very tall woman in his dream. The tall woman walked around the wall hedge for Naruto to get a better look at her. She was so tall and slender, long black hair, white morning dress billowing in the wind. She wore sandals. Her chest looked very large. It rivaled Tsunade's bust, but way bigger than Tsunade's. P-p-p-p, the tall woman chanted as she walked towards Naruto with a warm smile on her face. Naruto didn't seem frightened or scared of her. It was like he could actually trust her. What is your name, little boy? Said the tall woman. Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, he answered. You seem like a nice boy, she said, looking at him. Why are you in my dream, miss? He said, with her stopping him, putting a finger on his lips to quiet him. My name is Hakushaku-sama Narukuin, she said, moving the finger away. Do you have any friends? She asked, seeing him have a downcast look. I only have Hinata-chan as a friend. I don't have that many due to them being my brother and sister's friends now, he said, sadly, making her frown. Tell me, Narukuin, do your parents ever notice you? She asked, seeing him shake his head. No, they focus solely on my brother and sister, and plan to make my brother Menma the clan heir when it should be me, since I'm the firstborn, he said, seeing her raise an eyebrow with a frown on her face. I sense neglect, so they favor those two over him? This is the boy I've received this disturbance from, he's the one. Hakashako-sama's thought. I will see you soon, Naruto-kun. Hakashako-sama said as she started to vanish. Wait! Where are you going? When will I see you again? He yelled, but she vanished. Who was she? And why was she in his dream? The next day, it was the triplets' birthday, as there was a big party held in the Namikaze household for the Menma Namikaze Uzumaki and Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. Lots of presents given from other clans and whatnot. It was then Minato had announced Menma as clan heir. Naruto was in window with a sad look after hearing that, as he decided to walk away from his window. Worst birthday ever. Hinata and her mother arrived, who looked to be pregnant, carrying her little sister Hanabi. Kushina walked up to them. Hitomi-chan. Hinata-chan. Welcome to the party. Here for Menma and Naruto's big day. Kushina said with a smile as her friends surprisingly glared at her. We aren't here for either of them, we are here for Naruto-kun, said Hitomi, who was very displeased with her friend after Hinata had told her what happened. Naruto? Why are you here for him? She asked with Hitomi's glare increasing. It's his birthday too, you know. So it's true that you do favor your other son and daughter over him, says Hitomi with disgust written on her face, with Kushina looking shocked. Wait a minute, Hitomi, it's not like that. I love all three of my children, said Kushina, hoping her friend doesn't think that way about her. If that were true, then why are you not defending Naruto's right to be clan heir? Said Hitomi said with anger, with Kushina flinching and looking away. Hitomi-chan, please hear me out, Kushina decided to say, but was cut off when Hitomi spoke again, walking past her. You disappoint me, Kushina, and you call yourself a Uzumaki. We are getting Naruto and taking him somewhere special for his birthday, since this party is about your favorites, hissed Hitomi, with Kushina looking hurt by that watching. Hitomi-chan, wait, pleaded Kushina, who started to go after her friend and try to explain. As soon as they got into the house, Hinata decided to upstairs since she knew where Naruto's room would be. Naruto-kun, it's me. Hinata would open the door and only saw the room empty, but she did spot a note on his bed. Walking over to it, she picked it up and began reading it, only for her eyes to widen and tears shed as she immediately ran out his room, running past Kushina and her mother. Hinata-chan? Her mother said, seeing her daughter run past her crying, as she decided to go to the room to see what made her daughter run like that, as she saw the note and picked it up, reading it also, only for her to widen her eyes. Hinata, wait! Screamed Hitomi. Hitomi, what's going on? Kushina asked, only to receive a slap from her friend, shocked that her friend slapped her. This is all you and Minato's fault. Because of both of your actions, your firstborn son is running away, screamed Hitomi, who ran after her daughter as Kushina looked worried and widened her eyes as she looked saddened. What have I done? Kushina thought, running to go alert Minato. With Naruto, he couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't stand to live there at his family's house and decides to run away. What did it matter if he did run away? It's not like they are going to care anyway, since they're so focused on his siblings. He would keep running, that was until he heard that sound again. He stopped in his tracks as he turned and saw Hakashako-sama in the alleyway. Widening his eyes, he couldn't believe she's actually here. And that she's real. Ready to go, Naruto-kun, she said in her soft voice. Yes, was his reply, as she let out a hand, waiting for him to accept it. He slowly walked towards her hand, getting ready to accept it. Not that far from him, Hinata had made it, and saw him with a very tall woman she has never seen before. Naruto-kun, she yelled, running towards him, only for her to be too late as he grabbed a hold of Hakashako-sama's hand, as the two instantly vanished, shocking Hinata. Naruto-kun, screamed Hinata. With Naruto having took Naruto away from Konoha, Hakashako-sama is taking the boy somewhere special on his birthday. Where are we going, Hachi? Naruto asked, with her carrying him. To the amusement park, for your birthday. Have you been to one? She said, looking down at him, seeing him shake his head, which of course she knew his parents doesn't seem to involve him into anything. Well, you and I are going to have plenty of fun on your birthday, Hakashako-sama said with a warm, gentle smile on her face. As they suddenly reached to the amusement park, as Naruto widened his eyes at the amount of rides, games and other fun stuff such as animals, clowns, but there is one problem. There is no one at the amusement park but Naruto and Hakashako-sama. Funhouses, balloons everywhere, snack bars. Naruto looked really excited as Hakashako-sama smiled and giggled as the two walked to the first ride, the merry-go-round. The two would also be on a trolley or train with a monkey wearing a train conductor hat. As Naruto sat close to Hakashako-sama, with her putting her arm around him, which he liked, the two would eat vanilla ice cream together. As Naruto shared some of his with her, the two would play with each other in the pen with colorful balls. Hakashako-sama giggled as Naruto, for the first time in his life, laughed with a wide smile at the 8-foot-tall woman. She would take him to see animals, such as lions, tigers, elephants, seals and any other circus-related animal. They would be on a grassy field with green bright grass and flowers as they ran up the hill and rolled down to the bottom in each other's arms, laughing and giggling without a care in the world. Naruto would pick up some flowers and give some to her, which made her blush and smile accepting them. Hakashako-sama would piggyback Naruto on her back, running across the grassy field. "Wee!" Naruto exclaimed, with Hakashako-sama now tossing him up in the air as she caught him, seeing that he liked that. Now they are eating ice cream and cake as she put some candles on the birthday cake. As he smiled looking at the cake, this was the best birthday ever. Blow out the candles, Naruto, and make a wish, said Hakashaka-sama. I wish I could stay with you, Hakashaka-sama. Naruto shouted as he blew all his candles as she cheered, happily smiling. Both him and her are eating the cake with more ice cream, and later on at night. It was the fireworks being set as her and him sat together on the field watching the fireworks. He leaned up against her, as she had her arm around him, smiling with a faint blush on her cheeks. Naruto-kun. She spoke softly. Yes? He replied back, looking up at her. Do you know why your parents are neglecting you over your brother and sister? She asked, seeing him lose his smile. I don't know really. Every time I ask when could they train me, they would ignore me, even and look the other way. Same with my godparents, but one night I overheard them mention about preparing Menma and Naruto up for some kind of challenge or prophecy, he said, having remembered how he eavesdropped on his parents that one night. Hakashako-sama was silent hearing him explain, but then her eyes widened slightly when he mentioned a prophecy. So they neglected their firstborn over their other children, and is preparing them for this prophecy? It seems she will have to send her spirit form into the summoning realm to research what prophecy. But she has a hunch that all three of Minato and Kushina's kids are involved in it, or maybe only one of them. She focused her eyes on Naruto for a bit. I just want to be just as important and special as my brother and sister, he said, looking downcast, not aware of Hakashako-sama's shadowed expression, and did not see her evil, wicked smile. Oh, those fools, they do not realize they casted away their only hope. Who could possibly be in the center of this prophecy? Hakashako-sama said in thought as she had a very evil plan growing in her mind. If she plays her cards right and influenced Naruto in her own image, she could help him with his revenge and let him give all who wronged him hell. Eren Naruto-kun, if you want to be as special and important as your siblings, I could help you with that, said Hakashako-sama, with him now looking at her with hope in his eyes. Can you? Naruto asked as she nodded with a warm smile. Of course. It's what I do, Hakashako-sama said with a bright smile. Really? Awesome. I get training. Naruto cheered happily. Oh, this is just too perfect. All I need to do now is let the hate for his family and everyone who wronged him grow within him, push him to vengeance, and maybe torture his own family with great vengeance and furious anger, she said in thought with a hidden sadistic smile. When do we start? Naruto said, too excited. Oh, we will start very soon, Naruto-kun. First let's find us a place we can call home, she said, carrying him in bridal style. Oh yes, this was definitely going to be fun. Her and Naruto-kun together. She will help him and make him her ideal of a young partner and mate. He's a little too young for her to mate with her. Maybe when he's like 12 then she can start, but first she must train him and empower him with enough power to crush his siblings and watch as his mother, father and godparents witness true vengeance and the fear to victory. She can hardly wait to hear the agonizing and blood-curdling screams. Oh, how doomed the elemental nations are. Konoha at the moment. Now in the Hokage office, Minato along with his wife Jiraiya, Tsunade, Hitomi, Hinata and Hiruzen, even Mikoto came. Shizen was currently at the Konoha hospital managing it for Tsunade. Everybody calm down. How did this happen? Minato says, wondering what possessed Naruto to just get up and leave. Hiruzen just glared at Minato. Hitomi had told him what happened and gave him the letter. How did this happen? For someone who's a leader of the village and very smart. You don't even know your own son. Hitomi hissed with Kushina flinching at her tone. Even Minato winced. Hitomi-chan, please, Kushina said, trying to reason with her best friend. Quiet, Uzumaki-san. Because of you and Minato, Naruto-kun is gone with some stranger, hissed Hitomi. Wait a minute, what do you mean gone? Why would Naruto leave on his birthday? Asked Mikoto Uchiha. Hinata-chan, can you tell us who took Naruto? Surely you saw him going with someone after you told me. Hitomi asked her daughter as everyone focused on her. She looked angry, glaring at those responsible for hurting Naruto-kun. Who I saw with him was a big woman, Hinata answered, with everyone looking confused. Big woman? How big? Jiraiya asked. I can't tell. She was very tall and big. She wore a white dress, sandals and a straw hat on her head. She had pale skin and long black hair, Hinata said, describing Hakashako-sama with the adults in the room absorbing description Hinata had mentioned. That's odd, we don't have that many tall women in Konoha, pondered Tsunade. But what could this tall woman want with Naruto? How could she take Mikoto? Spoke with Hinata, cutting her off. She didn't take him, he went with her willingly. I saw what I saw, said Hinata, as she probably knew why he went willingly. I don't understand? Mikoto asked, with Hitomi giving her a look. Why don't you ask Uzumaki-san and Namikaze-san? They are mostly the blame for this, Hitomi said, with Mikoto looking at the two who did not meet her look. Kushina, what is Hitomi talking about? Asked Mikoto, with Kushina not looking her way. We focused more on Menma and Naruto because they both held the Kyuubi within them. I wanted to train him, but Minato-kun says we should focus on both of them, Kushina answered, with Mikoto looking appalled. So basically you neglected him, leaving him out. How could you? Screamed Mikoto, looking outraged. Please listen, Mikoto-chan. It wasn't like that. Kushina would try to see only for Mikoto to blaze her Sharingan to life, glaring at her best friend. Now let's not get hasty, Jiraiya said, only to flinch from both Mikoto and Hitomi's look. Hiruzen joined in, glaring. Shut it, you fucking hermit. You're Naruto's godfather. How could you neglect him? You and Tsunade both are just as guilty as they are. And because of your stupidity, he's gone with some woman we have never seen before. Mikoto ranted. Wait a minute now. It's not my fault that the little brat ran away with a stranger. Jiraiya defended himself. It's pretty much all of your faults that he ran with this stranger, and now we may never know where he is. If anything, he just may be much better with this stranger. Hiruzen said with Minato glaring. Hold on there, Sarutobi, that's my son you are talking about. Minato says with anger on your face. Son? I'm sorry, but did you just say son? I thought Menma was your son. You, Kushina, Tsunade, and Jiraiya are all to blame for this, neglecting your firstborn over some prophecy by focusing all your attention on Menma and Naruto. You better pray to Kami that Naruto doesn't become scorned and seeks vengeance upon all of you. Hiruzen shot back as he left, leaving Minato and the rest stunned from his words. Come Hinata-chan, we are going home. Hitomi said, not wanting to look at her friend anymore as both of them left. Mikoto decided to leave. Mikoto-chan, wait. Please let me explain. Kushina said with a pleading look. The Uchiha woman turned and scowled at her former best friend. I don't know who you are anymore. Mikoto says as she left, leaving Kushina to tears. We need to find out who that woman was that took Naruto and get him back. Minato says. But how? How can we find him? Kushina said with tears in her eyes. I don't know, honestly. I'll have the tracker team investigate on this maybe, and see can Sim's dogs get the scent of this stranger. Minato says. With Naruto and Hakashaku, she carried the boy in piggyback as they traveled far into the west. The two would venture through the western lands and plains. She would look for a perfect place for them to call home. And knew the perfect one where no man or person has ever set foot in. And the place she was going to was Inanaki village, a cursed village that no one would ever set foot in and would never come back alive. You must take a small side road past Old Inanaki Tunnel to find the village. It's small and easy to miss, so most people don't ever find it. She spotted the tunnel that appears to be sealed up, which looks like the work of those damn monks who sealed it up. Looking annoyed. If you're brave enough to enter yourself, it said the village is full of traps and the villagers themselves will attack you with hatchets and sickles. There's no phone service either, so you'll be completely on your own. The village is said to have been isolated from the outside world since the Edo period, and because of that, the government treats them as a special reservation. If you're foolish enough to go in there, you are entirely on your own, and no one who has entered has ever escaped alive. Hakashaku-sama felt no fear from this place. She was going to make this both hers and Naruto's home and village, and because of her yokai aura and influence she can shift the village in her own way. She gently laid Naruto down and unsheathed her sword and cut down the seals as the barrier was lifted. She picked him up and went inside the haunted tunnel. It said you'll hear howling and screaming in the woods of Inanaki Ridge. And Inanaki village, the most fearsome of all. The haunted tunnel had seemed to respect Hakashaku-sama along with who she brought. Its curse has no effect over her or Naruto for that matter because of her influence. Having reached the end of the tunnel, she gazed at the haunted village. Vacant and in current ruins, corpses. It seems the villagers were driven insane and had killed each other. No sign of life here in this village. Everything here looked barren. No grass, no animals, or even water. Good, since she can control the dead, maybe she can manipulate the dead to rebuild this broken down village. But before she could do that, she would find them a place to stay at. She went into what looks like a house big enough for a family to live here in peace. Walking inside, she smiled. She found a bed for Naruto to rest on since he was still asleep. Walking out the house, she smiled evilly. She would raise her slender arms and flare her yokai chakra, spreading it all over the village, reviving the dead. Corpses would moan after being revived as they all turned towards their master who revived them. Rebuild and fix this village. I want it in good shape for my mate. She ordered, and without question, they carried out her demand and started getting to work. Now all she had to do was see how to make Naruto special, since she promised him. She will look for a way to make him special and then train him, plus drive him to hate his family to get his revenge upon them. Konoha one whole day later, at the Hokage Tower. Well, what could you get from your dogs, Sim? Asked Minato. Well, we followed the scent of Naruto as it ended near an alleyway. She explained as he nodded, waiting for her to continue about the stranger who Naruto gone with. And? He said. As for the stranger, the moment the dogs sniffed the scent, the dogs became spooked all of a sudden and whimpered. I don't know what could have frightened them like that. Sim said with Minato now raising a brow. Her dogs are afraid of something that took Naruto? Just what it is they are afraid of. I see. Thank you for your help, said Minato, seeing her walk off as he sighed. I take it you heard that, Jiraiya-sensei. Minato says with his sensei appearing out the window. Yes, hard to believe Sim's dogs would be afraid of whoever took Naruto. The Toad Sage pondered. You think we should ask for the toads for guidance? Minato asked with Jiraiya nodding. I suppose it won't hurt to ask them. Maybe they could shed some light on the situation of our culprit and know who she is. And the fact that she could teleport, said Jiraiya, now summoning Ma and Pa in the office. What seems to be the problem, Jiraiya boy and Minato boy? Said Pa, looking at both of them. Ma and Pa, we need your help. My son Naruto had ran away with some tall woman. Minato said with both frowning. He ran away? What did you do? Accused Ma with a glare as both men flinched. Well, we have been focusing on Menma and Naruto's training and never trained Naruto. Jiraiya answered with both now glaring at him. So you neglected your own tadpole? growled Pa with anger on his face. Pa and Ma, it wasn't like Minato says, but Pa slammed his cane on the ground. Don't lie to us, Minato boy. Because every time Jiraiya mouths off about Menma, not once did we hear him say anything about Naruto. And we suspected something was wrong. How could you two focus on your other two tadpoles and not your first one? Yelled Pa, looking ready to beat them, because of the prophecy the great Toad Elder foretold. That a great evil from the west will come and change the fate of the shinobi world. I believe that Naruto and Menma are also in the mix of this, so we decided to train them how to harness their QB chakra. Jiraiya explained, with both the toads looking more angrier. And you both thought it was okay to just cast Naruto boy to the side and focus your full attention on both of them. Yelled Ma, with them looking away. We plan to train him someday, it's just that Menma and Naruto are our top priority, and that we should prepare them against this great evil. Said Minato, flinching from the looks both toads sent him. And pray tell us, who did Naruto boy ran off with? Since we could tell he felt like he wasn't as important as his siblings. We are so disappointed in both of you. You can forget having Menma sign our contract. Said Pa, with both of them looking shocked. What? Why? I had promised Menma that I would take him as an apprentice, and teach him the way of the toads. Jiraiya asked, looking shocked. Because that boy isn't worthy of being taught and trained by us. He's clearly arrogant. Naruto deserves to learn from us. But you idiots destroyed that by making him run away. Now tell us, who is this stranger he ran off with? Surely you know who the culprit is? Shouted Ma. He ran off with some tall woman from what Hitomi's daughter mentioned. She was very tall, pale skin, she wore a straw hat and a white morning dress and some sandals and long black hair. Jiraiya had answered as both toads who listened suddenly lost color on their skin hearing the description of who that culprit was and had looks of fear. He went with her. Said Pa, with wide eyes full of fear. Minato and Jiraiya noticed how fearful both toads were. Her? Do you know who she is? Asked Jiraiya. Of course we know who this is. And she's not someone we should cross or anger. She was supposed to be imprisoned. Said Ma, who was trembling in fear of who this woman was who Naruto went with. Who is she? And why do you both fear her so much? Asked Minato, who was surprised by this. She's a demon, a monster, a killer of children. Exclaimed Pa. Both men looked taken back by this. Who are you talking about? Asked Jiraiya as both toads looked at them with fear still on their faces. We are talking about Hakashaka-sama, the 8 feet tall woman. She is something you both know very little about. Answered Pa. And you say she kills children? Asked Minato with the edge of fear, hoping this woman doesn't target his other 2 children. She does. Rumor has it that when you are liked by Hakashako-sama, you are destined to die in a few days by her hands, and she won't stop at nothing until she gets what she wants. Said Ma with fear in her voice. So you think it's possible that she killed Naruto? Asked Jiraiya as both shook their heads. We do not know it's possible, but we don't know what are her intentions with Naruto boy. Never thought she would come from the west to take him. Pa says. You're saying that as if she's been here to the east before? Said Jiraiya. She's been to the east here, in the elemental nations. She was here when the era of the Sage of the Six Paths was present, and rumored to be seen in the first and second shinobi war, kidnapping and killing many young victims. Explained Pa. So how do we get Naruto back from her? Asked Minato. That is a bad sign. Taking away someone she likes will lead to bloodshed. Said Ma. Well, can't we have your assistance in getting him back from her? Asked Jiraiya. No. They both said in unison, shocking both men. Why? Shouted Minato. We can't be involved. She can send her spirit form into the summoning realm. Said Ma. Do not provoke her, she's not someone you want to anger. Please heed our warnings, we must bring this up with the entire summons in the summoning realm that she has returned. Said Pa. Hey, wait. We need your help. Pleaded Minato. I'm afraid we cannot help you. This is out of our hands, just heed our warning, because if not, Hakashako-sama will kill you all. She's not just a child killer, but a bringer of death. Said Ma as both of them vanished, leaving the 2 stunned. What do we do? Asked Minato. We must tell Kushina along with Tsunade, they need to know this, and we must pay very close attention on Menma and Naruto, she might just target them next. Jiraiya says. In Inaki village, Naruto wakes up and smells food being cooked. He noticed he was in a house, meaning Hakashako-sama found a place. He found her in the kitchen cooking pork ramen, since she had leave the village to hunt a boar and bring water and the ingredients to cook ramen. Era. You're up, Naruto. She said with him coming towards her sitting on a chair, as she brought him his bowl of ramen. He smiled and started eating as she sat by him eating hers. So where are we, Hachi-chan? He asked. We found our own village, Naruto. We both own it, and we will be living here for eternity. She explained. Awesome. So I can be my own Kage? He said with a smile. Exactly. And when we get the chance, I'm going to make you as special as your siblings that I promise you. She said with him beaming at that. I can hardly wait. He said, beamed. Namike's manner. That worthless idiot. Growled Menma. He ruined everything. He added in frustration. As Naruto looked at her brother, who is blaming on their way other brother Naruto who ran away. He ruined our birthday party. I hate him. ranted Menma while Naruto looked away from him, ignoring his ranting, as she looked out in the window with a sad face. I'm sorry, Naruto, she thought, only hoping that her older brother will be okay. With Minato. He went with who? Screamed Kushina, looking pale and frightened for the boy she neglected. Minato and Jiraiya told her of who her son had went with willingly, and told not just Kushina but Tsunade as well, as both women were shocked. Hachishikuzuma, muttered Tsunade as she recalled how her great-grandfather and great-grandma Mito told her the story about Hachishikuzuma. We must get my baby boy back, she shouted. She feels horrible for what she had done. Kushina, I'm afraid it's impossible to get him back, we don't even know where he is, says Minato, trying to calm her down. I don't care. I want my son back, she yelled. We don't know where to find her or know where she is. The Toads refuse to help us and are angry with us as well due to focusing on Menma and Naruto, says Jiraiya, just wondering how big of a deal this Hachishikuzuma is. And whose fault do you think that is? Says a voice as they turned over and saw the Sandaime Hokage. All of you abandoned Naruto over some prophecy, and now he's in the hands with the most infamous urban legend of all time since the Sage of the Six Paths, Sarutobi says with them looking away and feeling a bit guilty for what they let happen. You better pray to Kami that he doesn't try to come here and attack everyone out of great vengeance and furious anger, he says with Jiraiya frowning. Sensei, how do we know for sure that Naruto will turn out like that? It's not like him to attack us or his own family, he says with his sensei scoffing. For your sake I hope you're right, but it's a possibility that he will do it, not to mention the neglect he had endured from his parents and godparents whom favored his brother and sister over him, Sarutobi would say as they looked down with Kushina looking close to tears. She called herself a mother, and she neglected her firstborn over her other son and daughter. She has a feeling Mito Uzumaki is probably watching her from the heavens with a look of disappointment and disapproval. She has to make things right and make amends for ignoring and neglecting her little boy. So what do we now? Asked Tsunade. We cannot do nothing. We will have to accept that Naruto is gone forever. We don't know if the Hakashaku-sama killed him or not. Minato would say that was until he was met with a stinging slap to his face. So you're just gonna forget all about your firstborn? Abandon him to an urban legend? Kushina yelled, ready to beat the hell out of Minato. Kushina, face it, there is nothing we can do, he's gone, and could be probably dead. We have to move on and focus on Menma and Naruto. Hakashaku-sama could target them next if we don't keep a watchful eye on them, he says while her eyes narrowed. You don't care about Naruto at all, do you? She accused. That's not what I'm saying, and you know that, he said with defense. Bullshit. You claim he's already dead and just accept the fact that he's gone so quickly. I don't believe it, she says with anger. Oh, and what makes you think Hachishikuzuma did not kill him? He asks with a raised eyebrow. I don't know, but I just have this feeling that he's alive and that she didn't kill him. She admitted she has a feeling that he's alive and is well, but probably under Hachishikuzuma's influence against his will, to go with her, knowing the yokai can do that to her young victims. Kushina-chan, I know you miss him and all, but right now we have to focus on our other two kids to prepare them for this prophecy, he says, putting his hand on her shoulder in a comforting way, but she pushed it off. Don't touch me, she hissed, walking away, not wanting to speak to her husband. Hiruzen sighed as he knew it was time to go. Minato sighed himself, wondering what will he do about this situation. Don't worry, kid, she just needs a little more time. Right now we have important things to do, Jiraiya says with Minato nodding. Inanaki village, after eating lots of ramen from Hachishikuzuma, the boy is currently looking at his new caretaker, who smiled at him. She knew the plan to make him special, and that was to turn him into a yokai. Like she is, she grinned evilly. Her blood is the answer for all this. She grabs a knife and slits her palm of her hand, letting drops of blood fall in Naruto's tea. After letting a few drops fall in there, she healed her cut and then flared a little of her yokai chakra into the tea. Then stirs it up as it glowed a red ominous aura. The whole cup of tea did as she smiled. As she finished stirring, she brought to him. What's that, Hachi-chan? He asked, seeing her come to him. It's my special tea I created. I thought you should try it, she says, handing him her cup as he accepted it and drank its contents, unaware of the wicked smile on her face. That tasted good. What you put in it? He asked. Oh, just my special ingredient, she says with a smile. At full moon it will change him, was her thoughts, looking at her future ideal of a young partner or mate. Later on that night, as the moon illuminated, it was full, flaring its lunar glow and brightness as it shines down on the Inanaki village, on the house Hachishikuzuma and Naruto were both in. Now in bed with her, a great change had happened to his body. As his human blood had changed to yokai blood, his appearance had changed. Instead of being a 6-year-old, he had grew to the age of 15. Significantly taller and older looking, his hair grows long that it protrudes out the back of his head. The top half of his hair is white while the bottom half of his hair is black. The transformation had been complete. No more was he a human but a full-blooded yokai. As the morning came, Hachishikuzuma was shocked at his appearance. She could feel the power of yokai chakra surround him. Has her blood ascended him into a yokai like her? And not a typical normal yokai? He began to take up, opening his eyes. His pupils were narrowed and no longer blue but red. What is this? Why do I feel different? He asked, getting up out of the bed only to widen his eyes at his new permanent appearance. Whoa! It was then he noticed his voice had changed. It was much calmer, and cold yet slight sinister. Hakashaka was too stunned to say anything. She had realized what she had done. What happened to me? He asked, looking at his appearance in the mirror. That would be my doing, Naruto-kun. Remember how I said I would make you special? She says with him nodding as she explained how she done it. So I'm a full-blooded yokai? He asks with her nodding. Excellent. A thin smile played on his face looking at his new appearance, then turned towards Hakashaka-sama. It seems I will have to thank you for turning me into this, he says with a grin, walking towards Hakashaka-sama, who, when seeing him, walked towards her and then surprisingly kissed her on the lips, making her widen her dark blue eyes. The kiss broke apart as she blushed, looking at him. Now, my dear, let's get something to eat, he would say, walking away. She looked at him with clear lust. She didn't think her blood would turn him into the yokai. It was as if she had accidentally turned him into a yokai lord. Now her plans will go further for him, along with the future of the East. Konoha at the moment, Minato sighed. Things have not been going well for him. Ever since Naruto has gone with this Hachishikuzuma, things have not gone well for him. And not in a good way. His family is falling apart, though he, Jiraiya and Tsunade are currently training Menma and Naruto. Kushina, on the other hand, drifted from their training. She didn't want no part in training them anymore. Ever since Naruto gone with Hachishikuzuma, Kushina refused to talk to Minato, and she never came home. She went to a motel. He has to get her back to help train their children. He decided to go find his wife and talk to her, with Kushina, who is in her motel room. Having left the Namake's manor, while drinking sake, getting drunk to drink away her sorrows and that she is a horrible mother, she would not stop crying tears of what she had done. Her friends Hitomi and Makoto doesn't want to talk to her or ever see her again because of how she neglected her son. Why did she do it? Why did she even listen to Minato? She cried harder. Her firstborn is gone with this Hachishikuzuma. She heard stories of the 8-foot-tall woman, and what she does in her nature towards young victims. Hakashaka-sama is a yokai, a vengeful one at that. This demon always targets children and kidnaps them. It's unknown what she does to her captive victims. Some tales of the legend says she kills children for the pleasure or devours them. And not that Hakashaka-sama is a child killer, but a bringer of death. And now that monster has her son, a son she neglected. Kushina shed tears. What kind of mother is she? She did not believe Hachishikuzuma killed her son. She took another sip of her sake bottle. That was until she heard a knock at the door. She went to go see who it was as she opened it, only to scowl at the person she did not want to see right now. It was her husband, Minato. What do you want? She hissed at him. Please, Kushi-chan, come home. The children miss you. I miss you, please, he begged. Go away, she says, closing the door, but he stopped it. Kushina, please. Don't do this, come home. Naruto and Menma misses you. Don't neglect them, he said, but dodged a sake bottle. Don't you dare accuse me of neglecting them. I gave them plenty of time. And plenty of love and attention. Which is something that I should have given to my firstborn. I don't know why the hell I even listened to you when you first told me about this prophecy. And that it involves both our children who carried the Kyuubi. How do we know for sure that the prophecy is true? Hissed Kushina, ready to beat the brakes off Minato, who raised his hands up in defense. Jiraiya-sensei says the prophecy is true. He heard from the great Toad Elder himself. A great evil is coming from the west and wishes to change the elemental nations as we know it. And both Menma and Naruto are in the center of it because they both have the Kyuubi in them. Which is why we are preparing them for this prophecy to save the world. Don't you want that, Kushina? Minato says with her glaring at him. Did we have to abandon our firstborn though? Did we have to ignore him? And act like he didn't exist? Because of a fucking prophecy. When you first brought it up to me and mentioned about training Menma and Naruto, I asked what about our son Naruto. And you said that he can't join because he wasn't the prophecy child like Menma and Naruto. We still could have trained him and gave him attention. Now he's gone and it's pretty much our fault. Because we treated him like an outcast. And he probably no doubt hates us. Kushina yelled with more hot tears from her eyes as Minato tried to approach her and bring her into a hug, but she shoved him out her hotel room. He widened his eyes seeing her angry expression. Her red puffy eyes. Kushi-chan, he says in a pleading tone, looking up at her. Fuck you, Minato. She slammed the door hard. He sighed. He'll have to give her more time to grieve. What will he do now? His kids both need their mother for this training. In Inaki village, now with Hakashaka having gotten used to being a full-fledged yokai, the two of them are eating ramen together, while watching the corpses keep fixing up the village. So far the corpses are making crops enough to grow vegetables, maybe make a rice field, a hay field. Now all they needed was water to revive the barren lands of their village, and also grow trees and other plant life. They would need animals here too, like cows, chicken, and whatnot. Even fish. The houses and buildings are being fixed and built up by the undead. They would have to dig deeper in order to find water in the watering hole. It seems we would have to go on a raid to steal the necessary resources we need for our village, Naruto says. That won't be necessary, Naruto-kun. I could command the corpses to leave the village and get that for us. Hachishikuzuma says while mentally controlling the corpses to do just that. Let's get more acquainted, she says huskily with lust. Oh? He raises a brow, seeing her come close. Let's do it, Naruto-kun, she says, grabbing his hand, leading him into a bedroom. As they went into a bedroom, she undressed first, showing her naked form. in which he finds attractive and alluring. She helps him take off his clothes, revealing his thick, large member. She blushed looking at his developed member. "Put it inside me, Naruto," she says, laying down on the bed as he got up on the bed and put himself inside her, suddenly feeling a hot feeling flow through him. She moaned a little, feeling himself inside her. Naruto suddenly felt the instinct to thrust himself inside her. As she moaned lightly, feeling him thrust inside her, with her bouncing slightly from him thrusting into her. "This feels good, he's never felt something like this before." As he continued to plow himself inside her. "Make me yours, Naruto. Make me yours," she moaned as he kept thrusting inside her. She wrapped her slender arms around him and pulled him into her heavy, massive chest. As he inhaled her vanilla scent while he kept thrusting inside her, she moaned in pleasure, feeling her partner thrust himself inside her deeper. She tightened around him inside as he still plowed through her. Her nails lengthened into sharp claws as dragged her nails on his skin, leaving claw marks. Her eyes turned red briefly, and moaned, opening her mouth, revealing her sharp teeth and long tongue. Naruto, in turn, had his nails lengthen into claws and did the same to her back, leaving claw marks on her. As they both kissed one another, Hachishikuzuma and Naruto stared into one another's eyes, kissing, holding each other and being intimate with one another. "Hachi-chan, something is coming out," he groaned. "Release it inside me, Naruto. Release it all inside me," she moaned, wanting his seed inside her, thrusting a few more times inside Hachishikuzuma. Naruto released his first load of cum inside Hachishikuzuma. As she moaned, throwing her head back with her hat falling off her head, she could feel his sperm impregnate her womb. As she held him, held her new lover as he too held her. The two would rest from their love-making. 4 months later, Inanaki village is recovering greatly. The grounds, the soil and dirt was no longer barren. Grass had grown, the crops had grown, vegetables. Trees were slowly growing to life. Houses and buildings became good as new. The watering hole filled with water that had been dug up deep from the ground. The corpses were still working, still putting the village in great shape. On their new mansion stood Naruto, who watched the newly revived Inanaki village grow to life. Besides him is Hachishikuzuma, who is heavily pregnant, looking down at her stomach, rubbing it, smiling, knowing the life that's growing inside her. Naruto looked up at his tall wife with a smile, happy that he gets to form a family of his own. They both held hands and looked at the village that is still in progress of being revived to full life. Inanaki village 6 years later. The village has been successfully revived. Grass everywhere, insects in the fresh soil with butterflies flying, trees grown large and massive, strong, red spider lilies in some parts of the grassland, a waterfall that unleashes fresh pure water along with fish now in lakes and river, forest animals in the forest waltzing, rice fields grown along with crops full of all vegetables and fruits, houses fully completed and restored. The corpses had been laid to rest since they have restored Inanaki village by Hachishikuzuma's order. Now that the village is restored and rich, full of prosperity to Hachishikuzuma's liking and Naruto's liking, though the cursed village is still cursed. Even the tunnel itself is cursed still. No one would dare come here. The monks had sealed up this village because it was haunted and cursed. But since Hachishikuzuma came here and destroyed the seals so that her and Naruto can live their lives here in eternity, Inanaki village is closed off from the western lands that Naruto and Hachishikuzuma live in. In the west there are multiple domains and other lands ruled by lords, governors and warlords. There are other demons in the west who praise after humans. Now inside the village was the family itself, who owns the whole Inanaki village. 4 children in front of their parents. The first child is a boy, pale youth and dark hair like his mother, blue eyes like his father. His hair is long, that is tied up to a ponytail, and bangs that pass his chin, often covering parts of his emotionless face. He wears a black kimono with many white anchor-shaped patterns and wears sandals. Besides the boy is his pet horse, a beautiful white horse named Midori. His mother gave him this horse on his birthday. And what is our boy's name? Hayakimaru Uzumaki. Next to him is his sister, Teiko Uzumaki. She has long black hair with her father's blue eyes, as she wore a trench coat the color of red and likes to ask her father was she pretty. She also likes to carry scissors and many other sharp objects. Her mouth is ear to ear as if she is smiling, with rows of sharp fangs. Besides her younger sisters, who are identical twins, Sadako Uzumaki, black hair with streaks of blonde hair from her father, wearing a white morning dress like her mother, black eyes. Next to her is her twin Kayako Uzumaki. She was Sadako's twin sister with pale skin and black eyes, wearing a white gown like her mother, black hair with red streaks in her hair. These 4 are the children of Naruto Uzumaki and Hachishikuzuma. Hachishikuzuma still looks as beautiful as ever as she smiled down at the children she and Naruto made together. Naruto looked slightly older, wearing a black kimono with red whirlpools on them. He looked between his mid-20s or still 16. But he looks like he's in his 20s. He looked happy. For these 6 years, he loved his 8-foot wife and children. He loved all his 4 children equally. 6 years of happiness. With his own family. A family he made and created. With the person he loved the most. Hachishikuzuma. So kids, ready for an outing into the west? Naruto says. Daddy, let's go to the amusement park. Again. Sadako says. Naruto smiled at his daughter, who was in a cheerful mood. Well, Hachi-chan, should we take them to the amusement park? He asked. I don't see why not. Hachi Shikuzuma says with her children smiling. Then let us go. Naruto says as he and his family get ready to go. Konoha at the moment. 6 years it has been since Naruto's disappearance. Things have not changed. Minato still remains Hokage. While feeling not happy, his family is still somewhat shattered. Kushina still has not returned home to be with Minato, though she has visited her kids for brief moments before returning to her hotel room. That she has lived there for the past 6 years since Naruto's disappearance. 6 years living in solitude in that hotel away from her husband. Minato had tried desperately in pleading her to come back home where she belonged and for them to be a family again. But she closed him off and refused to acknowledge him, blaming him for the loss of their firstborn. While she too was as much as blame as he was, because she should have given her son the attention and love he deserved. But these past 6 years Kushina still believed that Naruto was alive and not killed by Hachishikuzuma. She had prayed to Kami that her son is still alive and not really killed by Hachishikuzuma like all the legends say. Knowing Hachishikuzuma is a child killer, Minato sighed. He misses his wife and wishes she could be with them. He knows both his son and daughter misses their mother. And he's done everything he could to get their mother to come back, but she refuses to even look him in the eye or even say a word to him. He tried having Tsunade to talk some sense into Kushina, but the redhead was also angry at Tsunade too and didn't want to talk to the busted blonde Senju. At least Menma and Naruko are doing well in their training. The Toads still refused to have Menma on their summoning contract, thus denied Menma and Naruko Toad summoning and learned Toad Sage art. Naruko did have the slug summoning contract, but that was denied too when Gamabunta told Katsuya about Tsunade's actions in neglecting her godson, as the slug boss was very furious with Tsunade's actions and did not want Naruko to sign the slug contract. Things just aren't going well for him. At least his son and daughter will be genin soon. With Menma, he glared at baby picture of Naruto. Menma was very angry at his brother and hated him. His brother ruined everything for him and Naruko. Menma was enraged when Jiraiya told him that the Toads refused having him sign their summoning contract and that he was not worthy and learning from them. He blamed his brother for that. Their mother, who never came home to stay with them, she would make brief visits and then leave. He also blamed Naruto for their mother to leave them. I hate you, Naruto, Menma says. Though not all was lost to him. He tried to get Hinata to acknowledge him and get to know him, but she refuses to acknowledge his presence, meaning that Hinata still longs for Naruto. Must his brother take everything from him? With Naruko, she too have missed her mother while also missing her brother. They were once a happy family. She can't understand everything has fallen apart. She tried to see Hinata one day and tried to befriend her, but the Hyuga girl shot her an angry glare. Hitomi and Mikoto still haven't spoke to Kushina ever since Naruto vanished, which means their friendship is estranged. She sighed sadly. Amusement park. Now at the amusement park where the family is. The first ride he got on was a Ferris wheel with Hachishikuzuma sitting beside him, who looked away from him with a slight blush holding his hands. Sadako, smiling with joy for her part, was on the Ferris wheel with Kayako. Hayakimaru and Teiko were on another part of the wheel too. The next ride they got on were the teacups, as Hachishikuzuma took pictures with a camera she brought. The third ride they got on was the train trolley with the monkey, as the train conductor Naruto was sitting beside Hakashaka-sama with her slender arm around him, pulling him to her side, while Teiko and Hayakimaru sat next to each other in the next seat, with Sadako and Kayako sitting on the next cart. Then they played games. The first game they played was ring toss. Hakashaka-sama tosses 8 rings, Hayakimaru tossed 6 rings, Naruto tossed 9 rings, Sadako tosses 4 rings, Teiko tossed 7 rings, Kayako tossed only 5. The family had ice cream while Hayakimaru, Sadako, Kayako and Teiko couldn't help but enjoy the sweet taste of vanilla ice cream. Sadako was too busy enjoying the taste of cotton candy, with Hakashaka-sama feeding Naruto his cotton candy. Hayakimaru was eating funnel cake, Teiko was eating hard candy and lollipops, and Kayako was eating some sweets too and eating a candy apple. Sadako played with the monkey that wore a train conductor hat. Hayakimaru and Teiko played with toy katana swords, with Kayako holding a bag of popcorn watching them. Hachishikuzuma and Naruto smiled watching their kids play and have fun. The whole family were having a great time at the amusement park. This is great. Look at our kids, Naruto says with Hachishikuzuma nodding. Papa, yes. They are having fun, Naruko-kun. She agreed. Nothing is going to keep us apart or ruin this family, she adds, looking at him and their children who are still playing. She will have to see what has changed in the east since they are in the west. Now at the Inanaki village, the children are asleep, as Naruto and Hakashaka-sama are also sleeping. Hakashaka would wake up and quietly leaves her bed and bedroom as she gets ready to go visit the east. She grabs her sword and leaves Inanaki village, the east, elemental nations, now in Konoha. It was night with a smile on her face. A dark smile. She stops by an orphanage. Looking at it, she flares her yokai power to lock the doors and windows. Then she begins to set the orphanage on fire. Setting it to blaze, she would vanish. She would then visit the Konoha hospital. Hachishikuzuma walked through hospital corridor. As she heard crying babies, she turned towards them and looked at them. The babies cried. Suddenly a dark smile crept on her face. She went to the maternity room where all pregnant women were, who were asleep. She suddenly flared her yokai chakra in th whole room as it seeped into the pregnant women. Being a mother is going to be a lot more difficult. She then went to the Uchiha police station looking at it. She unsheathed her sword and went inside the station. Suddenly the Uchiha police looked up when they saw her. She lunged at them with a sadistic glee as the Uchiha police force tried to attack her and stop her. Blood splashed as she was covered in Uchiha blood. She continued to massacre and kill the Uchiha police force. As their screams filled the station, many were bisected, beheaded, stabbed, melted. What the hell is going on here? Yelled Fugaku with 3 elite Uchihos at his side. As he got to the scene, he saw many of his Uchiha police officers slaughtered. Widening his eyes, he couldn't believe that this has happened. Sir! Exclaimed a Uchiha elite pointing at Hachishikuzuma, who turned to them, whose face was covered in Uchiha blood. As she stood in the middle of the dead Uchiha police officers, male and female. What the hell are you? Shouted Fugaku. Only to receive no answer. Tear the bitch apart. Fugaku yelled with rage. Hachishikuzuma smiled as she cackled as she saw the 3 come at her with swords in their hands. She made quick work of them by vanishing past them with their heads beheaded. You bitch! Fugaku weaved hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Fugaku yelled, blowing a homing fireball at Hachishikuzuma, who cut the fireball in 2 with her sword as she charged at him. He turned on his Sharingan and grabbed 2 kunais. She thrusted her sword at him as he blocked with both kunais, but she was faster as she pushed him back and then hacked off his left arm, making him scream in pain, then slashed down his stomach, causing his blood to spray on her. She then beheaded him as his head flew in the air and then landed on the ground. After massacring the Uchiha police force, she burned the station down. She headed towards Tenzo's house as he slept, finally catching up to him now fully asleep. She stabbed him over and over and over again. As she watched him die, with a smile on her face, she stepped outside and looked at the Hokage monument. She powered up her fist as a white bubble glowed around it as she sent it towards the monument, destroying it with the earthquake slam. She grinned at the handiwork she's done. As she goes to the Hokage tower, she killed the Umbu that was guarding the office and took the forbidden scroll. As she vanished, one morning, Minato could only have a horrified expression at the many reports of what just happened overnight. A whole orphanage of children was set on fire. The hospital disturbed him. He had heard from Tsunade that all mothers who were supposed to delivered babies that had no skin, organs, eyes, noses, limbs, or bones. The whole Uchiha police force had been massacred, including Fugaku Uchiha. An Umbu operative by the name of Tenzo had been murdered last night. The Hokage monument had been shattered, and worst of all, the forbidden scroll had been stolen. Who could have done such a thing? Who did all this in one night? Without setting an alarm, his Inuzuka Nins told him that it was that same scent that was here years ago right after Naruto disappeared. No, it couldn't have been her. So it was Hachishikuzuma that did this. Hokage-sama, the council requests you, says the Umbu officer. Minato nodded. How was he going to explain this to everyone? Before he could leave his office, he saw writing in blood on the wall. His eyes widened as he read it. Witness pure vengeance. I bestow a curse on this village. Our vengeance will know no bounds. The blood of those who died are on your hands. A curse? I need to find Jiraiya ASAP, Minato says. And what vengeance does Hachishikuzuma have with Konoha? What did they do to her that has angered her so? He could hear the screams of the orphans that died in that fire. He could hear the screams of the Uchiha police force who had been slaughtered. Oh my Kami, please help us, Minato pleaded, hoping Kami had heard him. Konoha council chamber. Minato looks at the many council members, look at him in fear and ask him multiple questions, and he wasn't sure which to answer first. What happened? Why were we attacked? Asked a civilian. Who dares destroy our Hokage monument? Snarled Hamura. How did this happen? I heard the Uchiha clan police force had been slaughtered. Asked Koharu, with Danzo remaining silent, while silently upset that Tenzo had been killed. Mikoto Uchiha, who was now taking her husband's spot on the council until Itachi had returned from his mission. When he returns, he is becoming the new clan head of the Uchiha clan. And why was the orphanage set on fire? Asked Choza. Kushina was not present. She didn't want to be by Minato or attend to the meeting. Everyone calm down. I'll ask all your questions, Minato says calmly, with everyone turning towards him. What do you think happened, Yandame-sama? Have you investigated on who attacked us? Asked Sum. We are still investigating on how this all happened overnight, and find the culprit that did this, Minato assured, with many not believing that. Do you think it was IWA or Kumo that planned this attack? Danzo asked. No. I'm afraid not. Though we are still investigating, he says, not sure whether if he should tell them the truth of who did all this in one night. Still, something doesn't add up. I've heard that all civilian women in the Konoha hospital gave birth to babies except they had no flesh, eyes, noses, limbs. Yet they are alive, Shikaka says, with everyone looking pale and shocked by that. How did that happen? What did all of this? Asked Hayashi, looking at his fellow clanheads. Hiruzen was sitting in the Sarutobi clanhead seat looking at Minato with a slight glare. He noticed the man's posture and body language. There is something that Minato is not telling them? You don't think it was Orochimaru who snuck in here and did all this, do you? Knowing he has a grudge with you for not becoming fourth Hokage. pondered Inoichi with many, thinking of the snake Sannin. Possible, but it's unheard of how he exactly snuck in here and did all this without setting off alarms. Minato says so sure. Not wanting to exactly tell them who was responsible for all this, that made Hiruzen narrow his eyes. No one knew Orochimaru better but him. That was impossible. Sure, Hiruzen knew that Orochimaru is capable of many things and very crafty, but he knew his student wouldn't be dumb enough to pull such a stunt like this, especially with Umbutu Kage-level shinobi and 2 other Sannin-level shinobi around the village. Orochimaru may be downright cold and evil, but the baby incident, he knew Orochimaru had nothing to do with that. Meaning Minato is hiding something and not wanting to tell anyone who the real culprit is that did all this. Don't worry. We will mourn for those who have died last night, and will double Umbu patrols to catch the perpetrator that did this. Minato says with everyone exchanging looks at one another. Meeting is over. Everyone is dismissed. He says with everyone leaving as he too left. With Hiruzen being the only one sitting there keeping his focus on Minato's retreating form. What are you hiding, Minato? Hiruzen thought, with Kushina, who was still in the motel sitting there with a sake bottle in her hand as she heard what has happened. She didn't even come to the meeting, she didn't even give damn, as she held up a photo of baby Naruto. She began to cry softly, chanted a deep masculine voice that made Kushina's skin crawl and widened her eyes looking around. She brought out her chakra chains. Kushina looked both ways on guard. Kushina jumped and directed all her chakra chains at something. Only to see her hit nothing but the wall. She gave a sigh of relief. Maybe her mind is playing tricks on her. Mother, says a voice that made Kushina widen her eyes. Mother, are you in there? Asked a soft voice. A voice that Kushina knew all too well. Sochi, she whispers. Naruto-kun, she says, looking at the door, heading towards it to go open it to see was that her son. Come, mother. Open up the door. Says Naruto. Kushina desperately runs to the door, and opens it only to widen her eyes seeing no one was at the door. Where is he? Where is he, damn it? I know you are here. Cut the shit. Where is my son? Give him back. Kushina screams out in rage. Give him back to me, damn it. Give him back. Raged Kushina with hot angry tears. Hachishikuzuma, give him back to me. Kushina says in a cold whisper. Hakashaka-samaya. Screamed Kushina looking rabid. There was only silence. Tap, 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 tap. It was then Kushina heard tapping on the window. Turning towards it, she saw a slender hand. Narrowing her eyes, she ran to the window, and saw Hachishikuzuma standing near a light pole. With an unsettling creepy smile, Kushina felt a chill run down her spine, as both her and Hachishikuzuma eyed each other. For mere moments either broke eye contact. Where is he, you child-killing bitch? Give me back my son! She yelled as Hachishikuzuma's creepy, disturbing smile never left her. As Hachishikuzuma laughed darkly, Hachishikuzuma looked at Kushina with wide eyes and snarled demonically as she opened her mouth, unhinged her jaw, revealing sharp demonic teeth and a long tongue. The sight of it made Kushina flinch and felt her blood turn cold. Puh! Hachishikuzuma teleported near the window so fast, scaring the daylights out of Kushina, who jumped back in fear, falling on her ass. Kushina whimpered as she slowly got back up at the window and looked out. She no longer saw Hachishikuzuma there, meaning she's gone. She saw Hachishikuzuma with her own eyes. I saw her. Eyes wide, she ran out the motel. Hokage Tower, a curse? Jiraiya muttered as Minato nodded. Yes. She left a message written in blood. Minato says, pointing to the message on the wall with Jiraiya reading it. Witness pure vengeance. I bestow a curse on this village. Our vengeance will know no bounds. The blood of those who died are on your hands. Jiraiya reads. What does she mean? Why would she come at us? And you don't think, Minato says with Jiraiya feeling a shiver down his spine, recalling how his sensei warned them. Naruto, Jiraiya says in a whisper. But why? Surely Naruto wouldn't side with Hachishikuzuma and plot revenge on us just because we focused more on his brother and sister? Minato says with Jiraiya going silent. Damn, he didn't think his sensei was serious when he said that Naruto just may get back at them with great vengeance and furious anger. Can't Naruto just accept that both his brother and sister are destined for greatness for this prophecy? Does he seriously have to take his jealousy at us this far? By siding with a myth? Who's a demon? Damn it, sensei, why did you have to go and jinx us? Now Naruto wants to take his anger and jealousy out on us for focusing on his brother and sister. He was not meant to be the chosen one, which is not our fault. Damn that brat. Jiraiya growled and thought, what do we do? I haven't even told anyone of who the culprit is who did this. They would not believe me if I told them that Hachishikuzuma is the one doing all of this. Minato says with Jiraiya frowning. My guess is as good as yours. The toad still refuses to help us. Jiraiya admitted. I'm more worried about this curse Hachishikuzuma has placed on the village. Minato says with Jiraiya looking at him. Where are the children? Because Hachishikuzuma may target them next? Jiraiya says urgently. Kakashi is out treating them to ramen. Damn, at times like this I need Kushina's help. Minato says. She still hasn't spoken to you? Has she at least interacted with her son and daughter? Jiraiya asks. She would only make brief visits with them. After that she would leave back to her motel. I tried to console her and get her to see reason on coming back, but she won't budge. Minato says sadly. Well, hang tight, kid. Jiraiya says, going for the window. Where are you going? His student asked. Going to visit some monks or priests to see if they have any knowledge on how to deal with Hachishikuzuma. She must be stopped at all costs. Jiraiya says. And what about Naruto? If he really is in on this vengeance with Hachishikuzuma, what do we do with him? Minato asks, with Jiraiya giving him a hard look. I'm afraid that decision falls on you, Minato. If it were up to me, I'd probably imprison him and seal off his chakra and throw away the key. Jiraiya answered as he jumped out the window, leaving Minato alone. Naruto, are you really willing to take it this far with us? Are you that angry with us? Jealous of your brother and sister? I know we never focused on you, but please, there's no need to take it this far. Minato says out loud. Hoping he could at least try to reason with his son. In Inaki village, Naruto is currently fishing, with his son Hayakimura by his side, who is also fishing. Teiko is chopping wood with her chainsaw, so that they could have firewood, as she would also feed Hayakimura's horse Midora some hay that they grew from the crops. Sadako is watching her television with Kayako sitting beside her twin sister while brushing her hair. I see you caught a fish, son, says Naruto, noticing his son catch a really big one. Thanks, father. Hayakimura says, looking at his father and the fish. Fishing, are we? Says Hachishikuzuma, who appeared with Naruto walking to his wife as they both kissed each other, looking into one's eyes. Where have you been, my dear wife? Naruto says as she giggled and revealed a very large scroll. Let's just say I went on a trip and happened to have this on my hands. Hachishikuzuma says with a sweet, gentle smile. What is it? Naruto asks, looking at the scroll. The forbidden scroll. Me and you are going to see what lies in here. We could use it to strengthen our village, and us, my beloved Narukuin. Hachishikuzuma says with a smile. I'm looking forward to it. Naruto says with a grin. In Inaki village, now having the forbidden scroll at their disposal, Naruto, Hachishikuzuma and their kids suddenly empowered themselves with vast knowledge of summoning, ninjutsu, taijutsu and sealed weapons. As Hachishikuzuma unsealed the mask of Terakudo, as both her and Naruto absorbed its power by having as many Shadokans as they want. Even their children were granted access to the mask of Terakudo. After the mask had been completely drained by yokai family, Hachishikuzuma destroyed the mask, since her family has control over all Shadokans. Now with power at their disposal, they could be unstoppable. Our family? Hachishikuzuma is cooking right now for the family. Teiko is currently cutting hay with her scythe to bring to Hayakimura's horse. Sadako is playing hide and seek with her sister Kayako. Kayako is currently looking for her twin sister. Sadako, where are you? She asked, looking around for her twin as she walked past a well. Sadako quietly came from her well, smiling that her sister can never find her here in one of her favorite hiding places. This well was her favorite hiding area. But also her television is also her hiding place, since she can go inside the television. As she quietly walked away before Kayako would notice that her sister was in that well the whole time, Hayakimura is practicing archery. As he finished hitting every bullseye on each target, Naruto comes into the kitchen, surprising Hachishikuzuma with a kiss while stroking her tall body. Naruto Hachishikuzuma moaned, feeling him behind her. What's for dinner? He asks while leaning close on her, inhaling her ever so vanilla scent. Oh, I'm making a large dinner. Since you and Hayakimura-kun did some fishing, we'll be having lots of roasted fish. Hachishikuzuma says. Well, dear, in that case I'm leaving the village for a bit, taking Hayakimura and Teiko with me. Naruto says. Oh? Going on an adventure, hope you bring something back. She would say. Don't worry, we'll be back before dinner. Naruto says, kissing his tall wife's cheek, and walked away to go get Hayakimura and Teiko, with Jiraiya, who had visited Fire Country's temple of monks and priests, to try and get any knowledge on Hachishikuzuma and how to stop her. Welcome, how may I help you? Asked the head monk. Hello, and Jiraiya of the Toads. I'm sure you've heard of me. Jiraiya introduced, with the head priest raising a brow. And just how may I help you? The head priest asked. I need some information about Hachishikuzuma. I want to know how to defeat her, or kill her at least. Jiraiya asked, with the head monk frowning while having a grim expression that Hachishikuzuma is brought up. Killing Hachishikuzuma is impossible. No man or monk has ever succeeded in killing her. Though there is one way to ward off Hachishikuzuma and defeat her. The head monk says, with Jiraiya frowning. It seems this Hachishikuzuma could be somewhat immortal or something. And what is this one thing? Jiraiya asks. A Jizo seal statue, the monk replied. A Jizo seal statue? What does it do? The Toad Sage asked, now interested, hoping this could be the answer to their problems. It would seal away Hachishikuzuma, or the very least ward her off from her young victims. The monk replied. Do you happen to have any? The Toad Sage asked. We only have 2, just in case the 8-foot yokai so happens to return, because last I checked she was sealed away by monks in the West decades ago. But I guess she's back, the monk says. What do you mean? Jiraiya asked. I'd been hearing rumors of 20 kidnapped young boys and girls here in Fire Country, and had prayed to Kami that the Hachishikuzuma wasn't back in the elemental nations, the monk replied, with Jiraiya widening his eyes. Could we borrow both of your Jizo seal statues? I need them to capture Hachishikuzuma and seal her away. I have to protect my godchildren. Jiraiya says, with the head monk frowning. I see. So your godchildren has been targeted by Hachishikuzuma? The monk said, with Jiraiya nodding. Yes. Both of them are liked by Hachishikuzuma. Jiraiya lied. even though he was unsure if Hachishikuzuma was going to target Menma and Naruko. Very well. Take good care of them. They are the last ones we have, and be well. The head monk says, giving Jiraiya the 2 statues. Now sealing them in the scroll, he thanks the monk and decides to leave and goes back to Konoha to report to Minato. Konoha at the moment. Menma is looking for someone, and he's looking for a certain Hyuga heiress. He smiled when he saw her leave the bakery as she went to grab a box of cinnamon rolls. And can you blame her though? That's her favorite snack. Cinnamon rolls are best. Especially the Cinnabon kind. Heya Hinata! Menma greeted as the Hyuga heiress turned around and saw who it was as she used her father's cold glare at the boy she loathed, who was directly responsible for making Naruto leave. What do you want? Hissed Hinata. Come on now, Hinata-chan. Why so cold? I only came to ask you, would you like to go on a date with me? He says, looking at her reaction as she scowled at him in disgust. No. She says, turning away. Oh, come on. Please, Hinata-chan. I want you to be my girlfriend. You should be honored to date the son of the Yondaime Hokage. Menma boasted with an arrogant smile. The answer is no. I don't date spoiled brats. Hinata replied back coldly, with him now looking angry and hurt by that. As she walked away. So you still miss that worthless idiot? It's been 6 years. Forget him, Hinata. Naruto is gone. Or he's probably dead. You should move on and be with me. I don't understand what you see in that pathetic idiot. He's nothing. He's not even a clan heir. I've been made clan heir. Me and my sister Naruko are worthy. Menma says as Hinata suddenly stopped in her tracks and flared her Byakugan, glaring at Menma. She suddenly put down her box of cinnamon rolls. What do I see in him? You say? I'll answer that. He's a kind-hearted boy who isn't arrogant and likes to be a show-off all the time. He was denied love by his own mother and father, even his own godparents. Spoiling you and Naruko as if you are Kami's children. And because of that he ran off with some tall woman. I hate you, Menma. I'll never be your girlfriend or your friend. I'll never forgive you and your family for what you have done. With speed she moved to strike Menma with a gentle fist strike. That was until Naruko arrived and got in Hinata's way, shielding her brother. Hinata, please. Naruko pleaded. Get out of the way, Naruko. Hinata says with anger. Please wait. Listen to me. I know I have been somewhat responsible for my brother to leave, but please don't do this. It's not worth it. Please don't hurt him. Naruko pleaded, with her brother scowling at her, seeing that his sister is saying it's her fault that he left. It's his own fault that left. Hinata glanced at both Namake's siblings with anger, as she counted to 10 to calm herself. As she looked calm but glared at the 2. Fine. But know this. If he keeps this up, he'll be put in Konoha General Hospital. Hinata turned away, picking up her cinnamon rolls, and left. She won't hurt me. Menma says as Naruko turned around and slapped her brother across the face. What the hell was that for? He yelled, rubbing his cheek. You know exactly what it was for. For being an ass. You're lucky I was able to talk some sense into her from pounding your dumb ass. Naruko hissed. I could have handled her. Besides, she's going to be my future wife someday. She has to learn to move on and forget. Naruto is dead. She doesn't need him anymore. Menma yelled, with his sister glaring at him. She's a human being, not an object. She can be with whoever she wants, and don't you dare say Naruto is dead. I know he's got to be alive out there. Naruko shot back. Naruko, it's been 6 years. Face it. He's Before he could finish that sentence, his sister struck him in the stomach, making him fall to his knees. I can never understand how am I related to you. Leave Hinata alone, because if you don't expect me to save your ass again. Naruko says angrily as she walked away, with Menma glaring at his sister's retreating form. Damn you, Menma thought, with Kushina now on her way to Minato's office. She was going to knock on the door until she heard Minato's voice in the room. That's the Jizo seal statue? That's going to protect Menma and Naruko from Hachishikuzuma? Minato says. Yeah, kid. Also rumored to have sealed her away, Jiraiya answers. What makes you think she'll come here and attack again? She'll know the Jizo seal is here to ward her off from Konoha. Minato says. She's only wasting time traveling from the west to come to the east and surprisingly attack us. Jiraiya says, with Kushina widening her eyes. The west? Is that where Hachishikuzuma is from? Yeah, if she does come here, all I have to do is seal her away. Jiraiya boasted with a smile. Yeah, but what about Naruto? Minato asks as Kushina listened closely. Minato. That brat has been nothing but trouble. He's willing to get back at us all because we picked his siblings over him when he's not the chosen one. It's not our fault. I say forget about him. To me he's dead. Jiraiya spoke, with Kushina on the other side of the door gritting her teeth and narrowed her eyes. Sensei, he still looks. Someday we can reason with him and get him to see why we did what we did. Minato says, with Jiraiya snorting at that. And if he doesn't? What if he is trying to get revenge at us still? Jiraiya says. Then I will have no choice but to lock him up and seal away his chakra. Let him stay in prison to think about what he has done. Minato says. Kushina looked livid at that suggestion as she quietly walked away from the door and left the tower, going to her home. She sat down. The kids weren't home, probably out. As she glanced at the pictures, seeing a picture of her Minato, Menma, Naruto and Naruto in the corner with a sad expression. She then looked at a picture of Mito Uzumaki who gave her a stare of anger. She flinched as she looked back at a picture of baby Naruto, her firstborn. She knows what she must do. She must try and make things right. She went upstairs to her and Minato's bedroom and went into her closet while saying Kai undoing a genjutsu on another part of the wall showing a secret closet. Opening it, she grabbed her kunoichi gear, her scrolls, and her sword Binaheim. She suddenly grabbed multiple sets of clothes and other belongings, now packed and ready. She wonders should she leave a note to her kids telling them that she's going on a long trip and that she will be back. She's going to get Naruto back from Hachishikuzuma and bring him home and give him the love that he should have been given in the first place. He could live with her in the motel. No, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Knowing Minato will directly respond to that and will have Hunter Nin looking for her, to hell with it all. She wants to make this right and she must do it. She can't bear to think what Hachishikuzuma is doing to her son, leaving the house and quietly leaving the village without looking back. She has to do this, with Naruto and Ko. Naruto and his two kids Hayakimaru and Teiko are with him, as the three go out having left their private village out to explore. Hayakimaru was riding his horse Midora with his sister Teiko behind him holding her scissors. Naruto was just walking as his kids and the horse followed. Wandering in the West. The West that has warlords, daimyos, samurai and shinobi alike. Some are Ronin mercenaries. Demons too often attack at night. There are some demons here in the West that attacks humans day and night. Dragons too, along with mythical creatures and great demons. There are other yokai like Hachishikuzuma. Yet Naruto is one as well. Right now there are wars going around in the West. Not to mention fighting enemy kingdoms and demons at the same time. Yet here the three of them are going on an adventure or go somewhere nice. With Kushina has left the Fire Country border 3 hours ago and rented a horse to ride, as she was making her way to the West. Luckily she asked for a map from the people who gave her a horse she rented. She heard rumors about what goes on in the West. She didn't care. She knows her son is there. And knows for a fact Hachishikuzuma is also there in the West. Maybe the people of the West can tell her where Hachishikuzuma is in the West when she gets there. She packed everything she needed when she gets to the West. There is no turning back now. She has to make this right. She must bring her son back and make amends. Maybe try to get Naruto and Menma to open up to their brother and bond with him again. As for her husband Minato, hopefully if she comes back with Naruto, she is going to reason with him one last time. Stop this prophecy bullshit. It's the reason their family fell apart, and yet he refuses to see that. If he still decides to stay with Jiraiya on this foolish crusade of the prophecy, then she leaves him no choice but to leave him via divorce and take the kids with her and leave Konoha. She wants to bring the family back to the way it was. No prophecy, no neglect, no favoring one child or another. She just wants everything the way it was. And if he wants to throw it all away for a prophecy, then so be it. She leaves him and takes her kids elsewhere for them all to be a happy family, and will love them all equally. She'll cross that bridge once she finishes her mission. I'm coming, Naruto Sochi, I'm going to take you home and defeat that child-killing monster even if I have to die trying. Kushina thought with conviction as she rode on her horse faster. As the horse kept galloping, heading to the west, which is very far away. Back with Naruto, with his two children as they traveled northwest. It was then Haikimura, who was still on his horse, looked around with his eyes. He sees multiple red signatures, which means there are evil corrupted humans who shed innocent blood. What's up, Haikimura? Naruto asked his son, who noticed the look on his son's face. As Teiko followed his line of look, the three peek from the bushes and sees a group of villagers along with a group of samurai holding torches, and looks at them burning down houses. Burn them down now, said a samurai as they began burning the village. That's too cruel, says a little girl who was besides her parents in another bush, as her father gripped his polearm, glaring at the samurai for doing this. The lords and samurai think they can do anything if it's for war, but says a woman looking towards her husband, putting a hand on his shoulder. Please, not anymore. The wife pleaded her husband, who have a look of resignation, and sighed. Let's go, he says, turning away both his wife and daughter, since he was too weak to try and fight them if it wasn't for his legs. Stop right there, called out a samurai, spotting the three. I'll never forget that polearm. Our homes were raided by bandits and my friends were all killed. I could never understand why I was left alive, but now I know. Hibukuro, yelled the samurai, unsheathing his sword to now kill the man named Hibukuro, but Hibukuro had a quick reaction and stabbed his polearm through the samurai that attempted to kill him. You bastard, yelled another samurai as they all unsheathed their sword and are going to attack. Hibukuro growled, seeing the other samurai start to approach, until a boy jumped from the bushes and turned both his arms into blades and beheaded the samurai. Shocked that a boy killed two samurais, the rest were going to attack Hayakimaru until two flying knives went at their throats, courtesy of Teiko, who thrown her knives. As Naruto made himself known, isn't this something? You samurai would attack a man who is in his weakened condition. Naruto says. Who are you? Asked the lead samurai, who pointed his sword at Naruto. I don't give out my name to dead men. Naruto snaps his fingers as samurai cons made themselves known and attacked the samurai, killing them all. Thank you, whoever you are? Hibukuro says towards Hyakimaru, who nodded. My name is Naruto, and you are most welcome. That boy is my son named Hyakimaru, and this is my beautiful daughter Teiko. I already know your name. Hibukuro. Naruto says as the man gave a grunt. This is my wife Ojiya, and the girl is my daughter named Dororo. We are most thankful of you saving us from the samurai. Those dark samurai, are they yours? Hibukuro asked with Naruto nodding. Of course. I'm a demon, Naruto answered with many gasping in shock that a demon saved them. Don't be alarmed. We won't kill you. After all, we saved you. Naruto says with them looking relieved that Naruto wasn't like any demon. As the boy looked at the homeless villagers who are now refugees. If you like. We are heading home to our village. It's not far. I'm offering you all a place to stay since you all lost your homes due to the idiocy of these warlords. Naruto says as the villagers who were now homeless instantly agreed to joining Naruto's village. Well, what do you think? Naruto asked Hibukuro, who nodded looking towards his wife and daughter. We accept. Hibukuro says with Naruto smiling. Then. Let's go. Naruto says leading the way with his children following him. Along with the villagers. In Inaki village sometime later, Hachishikuzuma is nearly done with dinner. Smiling. Mama! Daddy is back. He also has several people with him. Sadako says with her mother raising an eyebrow. A moment later, Hachishikuzuma along with both her daughters looked in awe seeing Naruto along with Hyakimaru, Teiko, their horse and several villagers who looked in awe about Inanaki village. Hachi-chan. I got us some villagers to live in our village. Naruto says with a big smile as she in turn smiled. Well then. Make yourselves at home. Hachishikuzuma says. Konoha 5 days later, Minato was stressed. Things are getting a lot worse. All this paperwork was stressing. He needed a moment from the paperwork, getting up from his desk needing to grab some sake. He missed his wife. Kushina, he hasn't heard from her. And wondered where was she. He looked on the Kage crystal ball and looked at the hotel she would stay in. His brow raised. Her hotel room looked empty. Odd, maybe she went to the house to see the kids. He looked there only to not find her there. If she's not at the hotel she stays cooped in or at the house to see the kids, then where the hell is she? Something is not right. His thoughts were interrupted when his office doors are opened and walked in was Tsunade. Minato, have you seen Kushina? She asked. No. Have you? He asked her as she shook her head. I stopped by at the hotel to try and talk to her, but there was no answer, Tsunade says. I checked her hotel and at the house with the crystal balls. Strange thing is I haven't heard from her in 5 days, and the kids haven't seen her, Minato says as he thought long and hard. Where is his wife? He knows she hasn't been the same since Hachishikuzuma took Naruto. Naruto. Then suddenly his blue eyes went wide with horror and realization on where his wife is. Oh fuck. I need all hunter names available immediately. ASAP. Minato yelled out with Tsunade looking surprised. What? Why? She asked confused. Kushina left the village. She's gone out looking for Naruto. Minato replied with Tsunade looking shocked. Damn it, Kushina. Why? Thought Minato, how could she do this? And get me Jiraiya. I need him now. Minato yelled out. He hoped he wasn't too late. Hopefully the hunter Nins and Jiraiya will find Kushina and bring her back. How will he explain this to Naruto and Menma? In Inaki village, Hachishikuzuma is tending to Hibukuro's wounds while he is eating a bowl of rice since Inanaki village has rice fields. His wife Ojiya is feeding Dororo some steamed rice in a bowl. So tell me, what is your story, Hibukuro? Naruto asked, standing at the window looking at all the villagers get settled into their new homes and of course eating lively with the food Hachishikuzuma cooked. The man would sigh as Hachishikuzuma healed his legs from those arrows. Me and my wife along with my daughter were bandits. Formerly we were betrayed by one of our own. I was the leader until my right-hand man betrayed us by joining up with some samurai and serving a lord of the land. Lost my men and was badly injured, Hibukuro answered. I see. Very disloyal was he? Naruto asked with the man nodding. I honestly didn't see it coming. Itachi will pay, Hibukuro grunted. And just so you don't get confused. The bandit that was with Dororo's parents is named Itachi. I'll be calling him Itachi D, while Itachi from Naruto is named Itachi, and understand? We are eternally grateful for you saving us. Never thought I'd see a demon save us humans, says Ojiya looking at Naruto after feeding her daughter. Well, not all demons here in the West aren't that bad. Naruto chuckled. I will show you and your family to your home, Hachishikuzuma would say as she would lead Hibukuro and Ojiya along with Dororo to their new home. Naruto smiled. He has villagers here in the Inanaki village. Tomorrow is going to be interesting once they venture on another adventure. With Kushina, the woman was still on her horse, riding it as fast as she could. She's nearing to her destination to reach to the west. She hasn't had any rest or sleep and didn't want to eat. She was on her quest to get her son back. She ignored the harsh weather such as rainstorms and thunderstorms. Fought anyone who tried to mug her or attempt to attack her. She killed them on the spot. She could tell she was almost there. It's been 3 days since she's been on the road heading for the west. Of course, her mind told her she needed rest and she needed to eat since her stomach has been growling. She decided to stop at a hotel to rest at for the night that was close by. She rests there for the night, then come in the morning she leaves to continue her quest. She is coming for her son and will bring him home. To her home in the hotel she lives in. Where they can be a family again, maybe even get Naruto and Menma to bond as a family again. When Kushina does reach the west, she is gonna be surprised that she is a grandmother. Konoha at the moment. Why would mother leave? Father? Asked Menma, who couldn't believe his ears that his mother left the village. Naruto, who heard the news, was also surprised. Mother, are you going to look for Naruto? Naruto thought, wondering if that is where her mother is going. Kids, I promise you your mother will be back. I don't really know what drove her to leave. As you can see, your mother hasn't been the same after your brother's disappearance. Minato answered, having to tell his kids that their mother have left the village. Once he told Jiraiya that Kushina had gone rogue to find Naruto, the Toad Sage wasn't pleased by this predicament. He had personally sent his sensei, his student Kakashi, and a squad of Anbu to bring Kushina back. Menma scowled. Has his mother abandoned both him and Naruto? For a child who is lost and gone. Does she love him? How could his mother do this to them? Must you take our mother too? Growled Menma in thought, glaring at the image of his brother Naruto in his mind. He felt betrayed that his mother left them to go bring or find that pathetic weakling here. Menma scowled as he turned away with a look of anger on his face. Menma, where are you going? Asked Minato in concern for his son. I'm going to train, so please don't bother me. Menma growled as he left the office, slamming the door hard. Minato noticed this. Kushina, what have you done? Thought Minato. Naruto looked out into the window, looking at the horizon. Be safe, mother, I hope you find Naruto, Naruto thought. Minato sighed deeply. Hopefully once Kushina is brought back he will reason with her one last time to let go of Naruto. With Menma, who was currently in the training grounds venting his anger and frustration of his brother Naruto. Destroying multiple training dummies. The trees and whatnot. First, his brother takes away his and Naruto's special training to summon toads and learn from the toads. He tossed a kunai at a training dummy in its torso. Second, Hinata still refuses to acknowledge him or want to be his girlfriend because she loves Naruto. He tosses another kunai at the same training doll. Third, his mother now leaves the village, abandoning him and Naruto to find Naruto. Flaring with the Kyuubi's chakra, with his eyes glowing red, he stares at the dummy and flips the kunai and tossed it at the dummy as it was imbued with the chakra of the Kyuubi, finally destroying it. Damn you, Naruto! Yelled Menma up to the heavens. I hate you! He snarled. Inanaki village, on this lovely day. Naruto is up and about, looking at all the villagers adjusting to their new homes. Since after all the village is big and needs more people in it. Big fields with rice fields. Produce and fruits. Water here, fish, livestock. Forest animals here. He took notice of Dororo becoming Hyakimaru's friend. Watching the two converse, he smiled at the scene. He sees Teiko in the hay fields cutting the hay and crops with her scythe. He sees Sadako and Kayako play tag. Then noticed Hibukuro and Ojiya look relaxed sitting on the porch of their new home. Watching their daughter make friends with his son Hyakimaru, Hachishikuzumi came up behind him with a smile. How does it feel to become a village leader, Narukun? She asked, wrapping her slender long arms around him. It feels great, Hachi-chan. We must get more people to join our village. Naruto says, holding his wife's hand. I can see our son has made a friend. She says, looking at Dororo talking with her son. Yes, he has. Naruto answered, gripping her hands. So we both are village leaders of Inanaki village? Hachishikuzumi asked with him nodding. Of course we are. Us together, he said with her, leaning down and kissed his lips with him, also kissing her lips back in a sensual way as she moaned when he cupped her huge K-cup. My love, I want some fun with you in bed, Hachishikuzumi says lustfully as he smirked at her. I've been wanting to touch you again. He smiled as she and him went back in their mansion to have some loving. With Jiraiya. Damn you, Kushina! Growled Jiraiya in thought as he, Kakashi, and a squad of Anbu were following Kushina's trail. Why? Just why of all things did she have to leave the village and find that brat? Just when shit couldn't get any worse. His student had told him to bring Kushina back and reason with her to come back and forget Naruto. But Jiraiya wasn't stupid. He doubted that Kushina will reasonable and won't listen. The Toad Sannin gulped, hoping of the possibility to not fight Kushina Uzumaki. Since she's very strong, stronger than Tsunade. Not to mention she's skilled in sealing arts. Deep down he was afraid that should she refuse to come back he knew a fight was bound to happen. Kakashi already has his dogs to track her scent and trail. This mission will not be easy, and probably won't work in either's favor. What happens should the trail run cold? Would that mean Kushina is gone for good? This is so complicated, Jiraiya grumbled in thought. Inanaki village. In the Inanaki mansion/estate, in the bedroom of both Naruto and Hachishikuzumi. At night, Naruto, along with Teiko and Hyakimaru and his horse Midoro, are leaving for the night to go find some demon recruits. As they waved to Kayako and Sadako along with Hachishikuzumi, who waved back at them. An hour later, Naruto and his kids left the village and ventured somewhere in the west that was snowing. Suddenly, as they approached into the forest, they are encountered by 3 demons. Teiko pulled out her chain sickle with Hyakimaru turning both his arms into blades. Naruto hummed, seeing 3 getting a good look at their appearances. The first demon is a muscular young man of average height with skin so fair, it appears bright green tinged white, decorated by a pattern of thick blue lines, which resemble the criminal tattoos he had as a human. Had short, bright pink hair that fluffed out around his head, and inward-tilting yellow eyes with pink eyelashes and blue mascara that looked somewhat like cracked glass. Wearing a vest and some pants. Very barefooted. The next one besides him is a tall man of a fairly muscular build, with a black-dotted, pale grayish complexion. His anatomy was quite strange in that his upper torso, arms and legs were all extremely muscular, whereas his waist was incredibly skinny, his pelvis jutting out at an unnatural angle. He possessed thin, green and red eyes, their mascara bright orange, that were slanted drastically downwards at the sides. Has unruly black hair that transitions to a brighter lime green around the crown of his head, worn messily styled with uneven bangs and several locks. His body and face have noticeable ink-like markings in the form of black spots on his body and a flowing water-like pattern on his face. Baggy blue pants and 7 pieces of patterned red cloth to decorate his body, 1 large one around his neck and 3 smaller ones around each arm. Then Naruto turned to the final one that looks like a woman. The young woman looked tall, curvaceous, and slender woman with lime green eyes, long eyelashes and very pale skin. Her initially black hair was styled in a full, long ponytail with kanzashi hairpins. 2 pink flower-like demon crests on her face, and wore a 2-piece version of her kimono consisting of magenta-pink panties tied by long, black bows on the sides and with 2 magenta pieces of cloth that cover her chest. She had magenta thigh-high stockings with black flower. My. You 3 look fierce. Naruto would say. What's a demon doing like you doing here at this time? The pink-haired demon says with a smile. Oh, just looking for some friends to join my village. Demon friends. Naruto would say with both his son and daughter flanked beside him. Judging by your power and strength. You're a high-ranking demon than us, says the green-haired demon. That is correct. Allow me to introduce myself. Naruto Uzumaki is my name. These 2 here are my children. Teiko and Hyakimaru. What is yours? Naruto introduced. Akaza is my name. Akaza answered looking at Naruto. Jutaro is my name, and this is my little sister Daki. Jutaro would answer with Daki standing beside her brother. And pray tell me, Naruto, what kind of demon friends are you looking for? Akaza would ask as Naruto's smile never left him. Strong demon friends. To join my village and become allies to me and my wife Hachishikuzuma. Naruto answered with the 3 demons widening their eyes that Hachishikuzuma is married and freed. Are the 3 of you interested in joining me? I'm looking for 9 more demons to join me. Naruto says with Akaza looking at both Jutaro and Daki his friends. We would be happy to join you. Naruto-sama. Akaza says with both his friends besides him smiling. Perfect. Come. Let's find our other 9 comrades. Naruto would say, to be continued, and here is the update. Sorry if it's short, but consider it a warm-up for the next chapter. Hachishikuzuma is glaring at 2 other tall figures. As her dark blue eyes glares at the first tall figure. The first tall figure is wearing dark armor. She's 8 feet tall. Her hair is so long it reaches to her ankles. Dark-skinned. Long ears. Holding the staff of Ain's Gaul and sword of the dead Sona. Her right eye is amber-colored while the left eye is dark blue. This dark-skinned figure is Origashaka-sama. The next figure was 9 foot tall. Wearing a white dress. Pale skin, a black sun hat. Yellow eyes. Long sharp claws, black hair in a bun, as she too glares at the 2 before her. Who is she? Lady Dimitrescu. And just why are all 3 tall ladies standing right here in a standoff glaring at one another? You bitches are not touching him. Hachishikuzuma glared. I sorry, but only I get to have Naruto. He's mine, growled Origashikuzuma. Ladies. Ladies. Please. The boy stays with me. Besides my daughters, and I want him in my house. Dimitrescu would say bringing up her claws. Only one of us gets to keep him. Hachishikuzuma would say now forming a white bubble on her fists to cause a quake punch. Suddenly Origashaka's hands turned dark as she pointed directly at Hachishikuzuma. Black vortex. Origashaka says using her dark fruit to cancel out Hachishikuzuma's quake ability, which surprised the 8-foot woman but was caught off guard when Dimitrescu lunged at her with sharp claws. That Hachishikuzuma barely had time to dodge. Hakashaka punches Lady Dimitrescu in the stomach and would land a kick in her face. Origashaka lunges forward with the sword of the dead to slash at Hachishikuzuma. Until Hachishikuzuma brought out her own sword and the 2 got into a deadlock glaring at each other. As the 2 backed off and exchanged blows at one another clashing, but Origashaka is gaining the upper hand and backhanded Hachishikuzuma through 2 mountains. Suddenly Dimitrescu ran up to Origashaka and attempted to vividly slash at her with her claws as the tall dark elf blocked all blows with her sword. It wasn't until the 8-foot-tall dark elf woman sent her hair tendrils at Dimitrescu who evaded them with ease and delivered a slash at Origashaka's chest plate armor damaging it. Origashaka elbowed Dimitrescu's face and then impaled her sword through the tall vampire who let out a roar of pain. Origashaka then used a quake punch to send Lady D flying through multiple trees. Hachishikuzuma came up from behind and grabbed Origashikuzuma from behind and slammed her into the ground and then grabbed the dark elf woman's hair and started swinging her around and around and around and then released her. So long, gay dark elf. Hachishikuzuma would say as Origashaka was sent flying into a nearby bomb as it blew up on the tall dark elf. Hachishikuzuma widened her eyes when she saw Origashaku emerge from the fire as she charged at Hachishikuzuma, coating her sword of the dead with the dragon twister. Hachishikuzuma coated her sword in the power of quakes and charged also. Suddenly both of them would clash, resulting in a deadly collision and shockwave that shook the elemental nations as the impact both made sent them flying away at each other. Both of them got back up, glaring at each other. Surprisingly, Lady Dimitrescu even stood up before the three of them could engage at one another. 3 large blood tentacles nearly struck them, yet they dodged them. All 3 tall ladies turned to the source and widened their eyes at the newcomer. The silhouette made herself known. She finally came into view. She too wore a dress that was black. Wore a white top. Her skin was pale. Hair color was moderate brown. Red eyes. A black sun hat with a veil, and she held an agenta. "Who are you?" questioned Lady Dimitrescu. The newcomer smiled sweetly. "Mizuki Shiranishikuzuma. Mind if I cut in? I too want Naruto," Shiranishikuzuma says, gripping her Najinta and flaring up in demonic aura. Suddenly the 3 tall ladies exchanged glances at one another. "Desperate times call for desperate measures. Shall we make it a truce, ladies?" Dimitrescu asked, turning to the 2. "Very well. Consider this a one-time alliance," Origashaku says, glaring at Shiranishikuzuma. "And once this is all over, we killing each other. And the true victor gets to have Naruto in bed with him, plus will give us pleasure and lots of babies." Hachishikuzuma snarled. "Agreed." Both Dimitrescu and Origashikuzuma says as the 3 tall ladies all charge at the new challenger, who turned into a partial succubus and charged at the 3. The battle was now legendary. The battle of the 4 tall women had now raged on, make end, with Kushina now in the west. She has finally made it. Now all she has to do now is locate and find her son Naruto and bring him home, where they can be a family again. She had traveled very far from the east. Now she's here in the west. That looks entirely different than the east and where they come from. Still on her horse, she looks ahead, looking at the vast lands of the west. "Sochi, I'm coming," she says, now going forward with her horse. She will visit some local villages and ask them have they seen her son Naruto Uzumaki or possible sightings of Hachishikuzuma. There's no turning back. She's not coming home until she brings back her son, with Naruto. Naruto, along with his children and 3 demon subordinates Akaza, Daki and Jutaro, are still searching for new demon comrades to join them, since it is both he and Hachishikuzuma's plan to have 12 demon subordinates. Naruto and Hachishikuzuma are Daiokai, higher-ranked demons. So are their children. All 4 of them are demons. Hayakimura Uzumaki, his son, has unique abilities. He has extraordinary healing factor and regeneration. His wounds heal quicker. It was discovered when Naruto and Hachishikuzuma trained Hayakimura that their son can regenerate, and can even regrow limbs. The boy can turn both his arms into samurai sword-like blades and is very deadly with them. Although that's not his only power. Hayakimura has soul sight, meaning he can see the color of other souls, which allows him to indicate evil beings, or if one's soul is tainted, the color of red, which indicates evil. If the soul is white, that means good. The souls of those are good around him. He's possibly the only child out of the other 3 that has that ability. He has telepathy. He can communicate with his mind, but at the same time can speak verbally with his voice. Sword proficiency. Hachishikuzuma trained her son the art of swordsmanship. He even carries a sword but rarely uses it, since he prefers to use his sword arms a lot in close combat. It's also possible that he has immortality like his mother and sisters. Even his father. The Uzumaki boy formed bonds with his pet demonic ghoul horse Midoro. The horse is a female and is Hayakimura's companion, a flaming ghoul horse demon that was found by Hachishikuzuma, and she gave the horse to her son as a gift. Midoro is extremely loyal to Hayakimura, and with the 2 of them together, they are an unstoppable force that can't be stopped. Teiko Uzumaki, the slit-mouthed girl. Or perhaps Kukase Kana. She is the first daughter of Hachishikuzuma and Naruto, second oldest. When she was born, she bore a ear-to-ear mouth as if she was smiling. Teiko, like her brother, has immortality. She's very skilled with sharp weapons. She would always have foot-long scissors, butcher knives, small knives, sickles, scythes, a tanto, a chainsaw, even a katana. Whatever sharp weapon she has at her disposal. She also carries a double-barrel shotgun. She can teleport. She's very fast on foot. She can run in 100 miles in a span of 3 seconds or 30 seconds depending on how you look at it. Meaning there is no escape from her. She likes to ask if she's pretty to her siblings and parents. Her other power. She has possession, meaning she can take control of someone's body by possessing it. She can create scary illusions by breathing a fear like mist on someone to trap them in her nightmare illusions. Sadako Uzumaki, she too is a demon. A demon that loves to be in the well or perhaps inside a television. Her power is unnatural. She can go inside her own television to bring out summons or any items. Her TV is somewhat her personal pocket dimension and room, since she sleeps inside a television. Although that's not her only power, she can cause a curse and can look at someone with a simple stare with one eye behind her hair, giving off a fearful aura. She too loves her family. Kayako Uzumaki, twin sister of Sadako, she can manipulate her hair into strands of tendrils like her mother. She can create a curse like her sister. Can teleport. Has possession, can shape-shift, and telepathy. Killer intent like her siblings. It brings pride to Naruto that all 4 of his children are strong and that all 4 of them will evolve as yokai. The demon Uzumaki glances at the demons chosen as his subordinates. Akaza is skilled in martial arts, which seems good. Jutaro and Daki are skilled in their blood demon art, with Jutaro skilled with dual sickles and has poison manipulation. Daki can control her obi belts as weapons and tendrils to kill at any distance she wishes. All 3 of them are promising and could rise to the ranks of the 12 Uzumaki demons or 12 Whirlpool demons, recruiting 12 demons in the western region to join their village. The 12 Uzumaki demons will be split into groups of 6 figures, Upper Whirlpool and Lower Whirlpool. 6 Upper Whirlpools required, the same with the Lower Whirlpools with the count of 6. Right now Naruto and Hakashaka are the leaders of the 12 Uzumaki demons. Akaza, Jutaro and Daki are the first demons to join Naruto and Hachishikuzuma's faction. As they strode on the path to find their recruits, the group made a halt when they heard a loud howl. Hyakimaru, Naruto says as the boy nodded and looked straight ahead with his eyes and using his soul sight. What do you see, son? Naruto asked as the boy spoke. I see a dozen armed samurai, including a tall wolf or dog demon. Hyakimaru answered his father. Let's go, Naruto says as they ran off to that direction. The canine demon was running away after she had been shot by arrows. As she pulled some of them off, as she would be cornered by the samurai with their swords, bows and arrows including torches. There she is. Kill her, says the lead samurai. Damn these assholes, thought the female dog demon. There are too many of them, and she was too injured to even fight back. Before the archers could open fire, all of their heads were beheaded swiftly, much to the shock of them and the female dog demon. Naruto had came into view with his red eyes glowing and smiled an evil smile. Another demon. Kill it, the lead samurai says as he and his men would charge at Naruto. Akaza went forward and impaled his fist right through the lead samurai, with Daki and Jutaro following up behind him. Daki would use her obi belts to slice them into pieces while Jutaro slashed and hacked with his sickles. Coming out of the bushes, 3 other samurais tried to attack but were burned to ashes when Midoro Hyakimaru's horse breathed a wave of fire from her mouth at them. 6 more samurai tried to attack Jutaro, but Teiko reached into her trench coat and tossed 8 small knives in vital areas through their armor, killing them. The female dog demon widened her red eyes at the scene of other demons saving her life. Once the carnage was over, Naruto stepped forward. You may rise, dog demon, Naruto says, outstretching his arm to her as he would heal all of her injuries. Thank you. What is your name? Who are you? She asked, looking up to him. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. The teenagers are my children, Hyakimaru and Teiko. The other 3 are my subordinates, Akaza, Daki and Jutaro. What is your name? He introduced himself. Luna. Luna would say, looking up at the Uzumaki male. Well, Luna, how would you like to join and become a part of my demonic faction called the 12 Whirlpools? Judging your race and species, you are an Inagami dog demon, Naruto would offer. She looked up at the Uzumaki demon and smiled slightly since he did save her life. I accept. I am indebted to you, Luna would say, making Naruto smile, as did Akaza and Ko. Welcome to the 12 Whirlpools, Luna, Naruto would say with a grin that never left his face. With Jiraiya and Ko. Kami, damn it. Curse Jiraiya, now it seems that the mission is much more complicated than it is. It rained not too long ago, meaning Kushina's scent is lost to them in the rain. And it's going to be much more difficult to find her. The trail ran cold, and right now their only option is to ask if they know where Kushina has gone to by visiting the local villages and small towns Kushina passed by. If they don't know where Kushina is going, then she is lost to them forever. He knows Minato would be heartbroken and probably won't give up to find his wife. Konoha, Kushina went where? Minato said with wide eyes, facing Jiraiya and Kakashi, as the two had told Minato exactly where Kushina went as they stopped by some local villages that Kushina stopped at, as one of the villages had told them that Kushina was looking for directions to go to the west. The west was something that no shinobi has ever gone to in the elemental nations. Rumor has it that the west is very, very far away and much far different than the elemental nations itself. But to both Jiraiya's and Minato's horror and realization is that Kushina probably overheard them about sealing Hachishikuzuma away in a Jizo seal and about her location, plus the recent discussion about Naruto. Which explains how she could possibly know where Naruto is. Kakashi, you are dismissed. Please check on Naruto and Menma. Minato commanded his student, who nodded, leaving him alone with the Toad Sage. Kushina knows, Minato says, knowing how upset his wife is when she probably overheard him mention about locking Naruto away in prison and seal off his chakra. And she's no doubt in the west looking for him already, and possibly Hachishikuzuma. Jiraiya added, what can we do? I don't want to lose her, Jiraiya. The kids are already stressed that Kushina left. We have to get her back. Minato looks up at his sensei from his desk. How should I know? You know as well as I do that Kushina is stubborn and will not listen to reason to me. Not to mention she hates my guts, blaming us for what happened to Naruto. She should share the blame too. Jiraiya answered. Go to the west, Jiraiya, and find her. Take a platoon of Umbu, Minato says, with Jiraiya looking at him as if to say go into IWA and kill that Tsukurikage on a suicide mission. Are you crazy? That's not going to be enough to bring Kushina back. She will kick my ass, including the Umbu. Plus, you want me to go to the west? Jiraiya says with clear shock in his voice. We don't even know what the west is like, though. He added, if Kushina was able to reach to the west, then I know you can. I'm assigning a task force to go with you on this Kushina retrieval mission. I'm assigning you Gao, Hana Inuzuka Tsunade and Shursui Uchiha, with you and your platoon of Umbu to bring Kushina back. Minato says with seriousness in his voice. Try to reason with her. The reason I assigned Tsunade with you is because I believe she can probably talk some sense into Kushina. Minato added. And what if Kushina can't be reasoned with? Jiraiya asked, folding his arms with Minato sighing. He hoped it didn't have to come to this. But Kushina has to come back and see her other children. Can't she see that, or the very least understand that? Naruto is a lost cause. His jealousy and anger for his siblings is what drove him on this path of vengeance with Hachishikuzuma. If you can't change her mind or get her to listen to reason, use force if necessary. I didn't want to do this, but she leaves me no choice. I can't lose her, and neither will the kids. Please, Jiraiya. Do whatever it takes to bring her back. Minato commanded with a solemn expression. All right. I'll see what I can. Jiraiya says, leaving to go prepare himself for this trip to the west and gather his task force members. Leaving Minato alone. Please, Kushina, don't do this. I'm hoping it doesn't get nasty when Jiraiya finds you. He says, knowing Kushina, like all Uzumakis, has a very bad temper. And he prays the task force he sent won't get killed by her. Inanaki village, Naruto and Ko returned. As Hachishikuzuma was seen facing Naruto and their future demon comrades, she glanced at Akaza, Jotaro, Daki, Luna, and 6 new faces. The pair, she looks at a woman and a boy. Who are they, Naruto-kun? Hachishikuzuma asks, looking at the first pair. The woman is Tamayo, the boy is her assistant Yoshiro. Naruto answered. Greetings, Lady Hachishikuzuma, I am Tamayo, and this is my assistant Yoshiro. I am a doctor. Tamayo introduced herself with the boy besides her, looking at the 8-foot woman. A pleasure to have a doctor here in our village. The 8-foot woman says, turning her gaze to the next pair. Spotting a black-haired woman with red eyes, wearing a kimono and held a fan. Besides the woman is a little girl with a mirror. She looked almost like a doll, eyes black and hair white. Kagura, the wind demon, at your service. This is my little sister Kana, she is a mirror demon. Kagura introduced with a bow. She was also recruited by Naruto. Hachishikuzuma nodded towards the two and faced the next figure, who has eyes for mouths, one eye on his forehead and the other in his mouth, and he has multiple baby hands. Hyo! A pleasure in meeting and serving the great Hachishikuzuma. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Gyako, says Gyako, and did a bow of respect. She acknowledged him and then turned towards the last figure. A woman that held a biwa guitar and has long hair that covered her face. And you are? Hachishikuzuma asked. Neikaim. Your greatness. Neikaim answered. Naruto stepped forwards toward his wife. So what you think? He asked his wife. They all are good. They will do for now until we get more to complete the 12 whirlpools. She says, facing them. Welcome to Inanaki village. Me and Hachi-chan are the village leaders. These humans are our villagers, we saved them. They are refugees from the war due to the idiocy of these warlords and shoguns. They live here. No harm is to come to them. Understand? You are their protectors. Naruto says, looking at every demon, daring them to object his rule. However, none of them did so. They weren't stupid enough to piss off a demon lord and his wife. Good, I am glad we understood each other. Later on, each of you will be tested to see who deserves the position of the 6 upper whirlpools and 6 lower whirlpools. Any questions? Naruto says with his red eyes, looking at each demon he has recruited. Tamayo raises her hand. Along with Neikaim. Yes, Tamayo? Naruto asks with a frown. I am not interested in becoming an upper or lower rank Naruto-sama, since I have no combat skills whatsoever. However, I will be this village's doctor. Tamayo says with Naruto nodding. Understandable. You. Naruto says, now looking at Neikaim. I am not ready to be either, Naruto-sama. I will however help renovate you and Hachishikuzuma's mansion into something greater. Neikaim would say as Naruto nodded. Very well. Then the rest of you will do. You all are dismissed. Naruto would say with the demons bowing in respect to their master and mistress, and walked away. I'm very pleased about this, my love. I in fact know 2 other yokai like me and you, to join us, and they both are friends of mine. Hachishikuzuma says with Naruto looking at her in surprise. Oh, who? He asks as she smiled. You'll see. I'm going to go look for them. She answered, thinking about a certain ex-shrine maiden with 6 arms and the lower half body of a snake. And another tall figure who is as big as her. She is a man-eater, and resides in the seas and oceans. Yes. Kankandara and Siren. They are yokai like she is. Some time later, Naruto glanced down at the demons who all are kneeled down as he held a new weapon in his hands. Holding Sona, the sword of hell or sword of the dead. He is now its wielder, as he glanced at each demon. I am proud to see some of you become upper whirlpools. All of you have proved your strength and worth. Naruto says with his eyes on Akaza, who is ranked upper whirlpool 1. as his eyes would have the kanji for Upper 1 Whirlpool. Jutaro holds Upper Whirlpool 2, sharing it with his sister. Daki. Luna holds Upper Whirlpool 3. Gyako holds the position of Upper Whirlpool 4. These are the only 4 demons to become upper ranks. Kagura and Kanna share lower rank Whirlpool 1, the first 2 to become lower ranks. Good job. The lot of you. Akaza. You are in charge of the upper ranks. Kagura, you are in charge of the lower ranks. Naruto says with the 2 nodding. You are dismissed. Find potential recruits who can become demons and could join us. Naruto says with the said demons nodding. With Hachishikuzuma, she is looking for both of her friends, Kankandara and Siren. Right now she's heading for Kankandara's location somewhere in dark forests. Once she gets Kankandara to join, she will go to the lagoon or the beaches to search for Siren. As she continued to walk into the dark forests, once she got to where she needed to be, she heard a chant. Who is it? Says a hollow voice. It's me. Aoi-chan. Surely you wouldn't forget an old friend? Hachishikuzuma says as she heard the trees and branches shift as she saw a 20-foot-long silhouette slither right off the tree, revealing a dark-haired beauty, with yellow eyes. Pale cream skin, having F-cups, 6 arms, and a necklace. This is Kankandara, Hachishikuzuma? Kankandara says with the 8-foot woman smiling, in the flesh. Old friend. Hachishikuzuma says, with Kushina, having made a long walk here. She found herself a small village. As she parked her horse outside an inn, she needed some place to sleep and rest. Come in the morning she will begin her search for Naruto. She will have to ask any villager or stranger if they have seen any sighting of Hachishikuzuma, which could lead her where the 8-foot-tall woman has been too recently. Having paid for a room, she goes inside and gets ready to sleep. She would lay in bed and would glance up at the ceiling, rethinking her mistake and failure as a mother. She is a horrible mother, and now she lost her son to this Hachishikuzuma. She's heard stories of Hachishikuzuma by her parents and Mito Uzumaki. Heard stories about the infamous child killer, Hachishikuzuma. Stories of how Hachishikuzuma snatched kids away from unsuspecting parents who fails to supervise them. Parents, caretakers, even the elderly would search for their missing children top to bottom, and those children were never found in decades. It's unknown what Hachishikuzuma does to her captive young victims. Rumors would say she kills them, or even devour them. And it scared Kushina that Hachishikuzuma would do that to her son. She firmly believes her son isn't dead. Even though it's been 6 years since she last saw her son, she has this feeling in her gut that he is alive and that Hachishikuzuma probably has him captive against his will, since she knows it's in Hachishikuzuma's nature to trick and manipulate children. She just hopes that Hachishikuzuma hasn't twisted her son in any way to make him hate her, in which she probably deserves, given how she neglected him. Tears would appear in the redhead eyes. If she hadn't neglected her son and hadn't listened to both Jiraiya and Minato, she wouldn't have lost him to Hachishikuzuma. She just hopes that when she reaches to her son, she hopes he would find it in his heart to forgive her. She wants to make things right. If Minato wouldn't do it, then she will. She would drift to sleep. Kushina's dream. Now in her dream she looks around. She appears to be on a grassy field with nothing but red spider lily flowers. She holds her sword still on the search for her son. From a faraway distance she spotted a blonde-haired boy. Widening her eyes she saw it was her son. She had to make sure this wasn't one of Hakushaku-sama's tricks. She ran to her son. When she was in good enough distance, her eyes widened in shock at what she seen before her. Her beautiful baby boy looked so different in person. When he was a baby and toddler he was beautiful, full of life and energy, but what she sees now is different. His expression is gone and empty, like his soul has been drained. She hated to say this, but her son looked demonic. She was terrified at the sight of her son's bizarre appearance. Even terrified to walk up to him and try speaking to him. She felt like crying right then and there. As she mustered up the courage to walk up and see her son, Naruto looked up at her with a blank expression. "Hello stranger, what can I do for you?" he asked as she choked on a sob. Her own son doesn't even remember her? This is the first time she ever heard of her son's voice. It sounded so blank, emotionless, as if it was a void. "Hi young man, I'm yours." She froze, too scared to even tell him that she is his mother. "You're my what?" Naruto asked blankly. "Do you know if you have a mom?" she asked, wanting to get a reaction out of him. "What do you mean exactly?" he replied as more tears were shown in her eyes. She couldn't take it anymore as she sobbed. I am so sorry. I'm your mom," Kushina would say, and suddenly the whole atmosphere changed. "Mom! Is that you? Mommy! I've been waiting for you for so long," Naruto replied with a wide demonic grin with sharp teeth and eyes widened. Are you okay?" she asked, lightly sobbing. "Mommy, mommy!" roared Naruto, looking demonic with wide demonic red eyes and sharp teeth. Kushina backed away in fear at the sight of her son looking more demonic than ever. This wasn't going the way she thought it would. She knew he might get upset, but not this. And it was scaring her. On instinct she turned and ran. When she looked back she looked scared than ever, seeing Naruto chase after her, roaring demonically. "Mommy, mommy!" Naruto growled demonically, still chasing after her. Kushina froze on fear when she saw her son charge at her in insane speed. She stood still as if she was glued to the ground once up close. Naruto faced his mother. "Mommy!" he roared in her face. Kushina was rooted to the ground as Naruto grabbed her face with his demonic-looking hands, and he screamed at her, as she felt more tears come out of her eyes. "Mommy!" he screamed, as he lifted her in the air. Kushina screamed when she saw Naruto open his mouth wide, unhinged his jaw. "Naruto! Sochi, please! Don't do this! I'm sorry!" she begged and pleaded. But it was too late. Naruto placed her in his mouth and swallowed her whole. This was what she deserved for being a horrible mother. Sometime later, Naruto stood with his hand on his round stomach after devouring his mother. "It was so good to finally see you again, Mom. I'm so glad we can finally reconnect after all these years. But the great thing is from now on, you will always be with me forever and ever," Naruto would say, now laughing demonically as Hachishikuzuma appeared by his side, also laughing. Reality. Kushina screamed, now waking up. "Nuh! And oh! Naruto! Nuh!" She screamed, looking around frantically. For a few minutes she calmed down, realizing it was just a nightmare, she's alive. She was pale and was in a cold sweat. She hoped to Kami that her son doesn't do that to her, doesn't eat her. Now she's more determined to find him and make things right. She just hopes she isn't too late. That Hachishikuzuma already twisted her son into a monster. She just hopes she's not too late. In Inaki village, Naruto and his children would glance up at their new home that Neikime built for them. Their house was now transformed into a castle called Infinity Castle. A home and castle for Naruto and his family. Including the upper and lower whirlpools will live here. "Looks nice, doesn't it, children?" Naruto asks. "Yes, it does, father." Teiko would answer with Hayakimura nodding besides her. "I'll definitely plug up a new TV in there." Sadako would say. "Definitely a cool place." Luna would say, with her eyes having the kanji for upper whirlpool 3. As Jutaro, Daki and Gyako were also present, Akaza was not present during this time. He was training in the forests. "When will mother come back, father?" asked Kayako, looking towards him. "She is looking for her friends and is bringing them here," he answered, looking at his daughter. "Father, can we make another outing?" asked Hayakimura, looking at his father. "Of course you can, son. Just be safe. I'm sending Luna with you. I will remain here and wait for your mother," Naruto would say, as Teiko would also speak up. "I will go with him, father," she says, as he would nod. "You two be careful. Same goes to you, Luna," Naruto would say, as he watched both his son and daughter along with Luna nodding and would get ready to leave the village. With Hachishikuzuma, the 8-foot-tall woman and her friend Aoi/Kankandara made it to the lagoon beach area, which was where Siren is. She managed to convince Aoi to join her family and will potentially be Naruto's future lover. And she's recruiting another friend of hers. Siren, the man-eating mermaid yokai, who devours men and fishermen alike. Rising out of the water was the giant mermaid herself. Pale skin. Very beautiful. Golden hair, wearing a golden tiara and necklace. Huge, her eyes were hazel color. Swimming over, she landed on the beach, revealing her lower half body that she has 2 thick tails with fins, colored dark green and slimy. As Siren began to finally speak, "Hachishikuzuma Kankandara? It's been so long?" the giant man-eating mermaid says, and she's not speaking in her foreign language like she does in the Siren Dojin. She can speak human language. "It's a pleasure to see you again, Sien, old friend. I've come to recruit you to join our cause. To join me and my husband," Hachishikuzuma would say with a smile. With Hakushaku Kankandara, Siren, "How lovely it is to see you in such good health. What has it been? 90 years? Since I last saw your face?" Siren asked, looking at her old friend along with Kankandara, who folded all 6 of her arms under her and sighed at the man-eating mermaid. "Siren, it's been 113 years since the 3 of us last been apart. As you know, I've lived in the dark forbidden forest for the past 115 years. Have you forgotten to count already?" Kankandara asked the mermaid. "It's been that long, Kankandara-chan? I remember it all too well when Hachi-chan was sealed away by those monks. Pretty heart-wrenching. But I am happy to see you finally return, Hachi-chan," Siren says, facing the 8-foot woman who smiled at her fellow friend and urban legend. Siren is a large man-eating mermaid yokai. At least bigger than Hachishikuzuma, and she is classified as a day yokai. She is feared upon the seas and oceans. She is the ocean dweller and loves to lure sailors, fishermen and possibly pirates to their deaths in the sea with her hypnotic singing voice. Voice sweet as honey and very seductive, all who falls prey to her singing is eaten by her. It is also known that she sinks ships as well and devours anyone on board once that ship is sinking to the watery depths of her domain, becoming a watery graveyard for the unfortunate souls who have been consumed by Siren. It's unknown what Siren's backstory was like. She wasn't born human, but rather as a mermaid yokai that has a taste for human flesh. 113 years later, she made friends with both Hachishikuzuma and Kankandara. Kankandara/Aoi, who was once a human and ex-priestess, only wronged by the very village and her own family that she swore to protect from a giant snake. She bested the snake with her spiritual powers. The snake still lived in the village, seeing no other choice or option for victory but to approach the snake, and offered Lady Aoi to the snake for a sacrifice in return of the village's safety. Shocked, betrayed, and confused Lady Aoi was, as the villagers cut off her arms watching the snake swallow her alive. It was at this very moment she discovered the village and her household had planned this, fearing her power more than anything. Emotions ran through her, and these emotions were anger, shock, betrayal, and sadness, lashing out, wanting to curse the villagers she sworn to protect. But an idea came to her, and she had her own victory. She placed a powerful curse on herself to become and live as the snake she bested in battle. Several days later, with the lower half of the snake's body, she went on a bloody massacre on the village who conspired against her. She murdered everyone, including her own household. The villagers pleaded and begged for mercy, or to be spared, but she ignored their pleas and still slaughtered them like cattle. After the purge was over, she took an arm of each who betrayed her, mainly her household family members. Having 6 arms, after she had gotten her revenge, she disappeared into the deep forests and secluded herself in solitude, killing anyone unfortunate who would be lost in the said forests. She likely encountered Hachishikuzuma 1 year later after being a date yokai too. The two became close friends and partners in crime. And both of them would soon meet Siren, whom couldn't speak at the time until Kankandra provided her a way to speak human language with her spiritual spells, granting Siren the ability to speak. Then there is the big lady herself, Hachishikuzuma, the 8 feet tall woman, killer of children, the bringing of death itself. Born from her mother, who is a doctor and secretly a serial killer, named Retsu Yuichiro Unohana. Her father is a monk. Her origins tell that Hachishikuzuma's mother, Retsu, whom is a doctor and secret murderer, was called over to be a midwife, while also pregnant with Hachishikuzuma at the same time. As she finished her task one night while Retsu was on her way home, she was attacked by a demon as its claws scratched her developing abdomen that is carrying her unborn child. Out of rage from being attacked, Retsu killed the demon with her bare hands, since she didn't have her sword with her at the time that she would use to slaughter innocent lives. And being a skilled healer, she healed her wound and could only pray that her baby was safe. However, what Retsu did not count on was that the demon's claws were laced with its yokai essence, and when it made contact with her belly, the yokai essence seeped into her developing fetus along with her unborn baby, infecting it into a yokai. After that, she didn't tell her husband that she was attacked. And so on for the next few months. Retsu's belly had gotten abnormally large, as if she was carrying triplets or quadruplets. It was hard to tell, and on the 9th month Retsu had given birth to Hakushaku, which stunned and surprised her husband along with the midwife, who were caught off guard to Retsu give birth to a very, very big baby. The baby was literally a splitting image of Retsu. Speaking of Retsu, Retsu had died. The amount of strain to push out her baby was too much that it actually killed her. Hachishikuzuma's father, who was a monk, saw his infant daughter was flowing with demonic aura, and as a monk he had to kill his daughter for the loss of his wife, but because she is a demon. But could he? He wanted to kill his daughter, but she looked so much like Retsu that he couldn't bring himself to do it. So he simply gave her away to an orphanage, leaving her on their doorsteps, since he was unable to raise her. After doing that deed, he moved on. Hachishikuzuma lived her life in that orphanage, bullied for her growing height. By the time Hachishikuzuma became 5 years old, she was already 6 foot tall and still growing. For the past 5 years of living in that orphanage, Hachishikuzuma was bullied for her height. The kids would pick on her for being big and tall. Some even think she was hardly human, which is true. Even the staff at the orphanage found her height strange and unnatural for a child. Hachishikuzuma hardly had any friends in her younger days. Hell, no one wanted to adopt her because they found her strange. 6 years went by and Hachishikuzuma became 11 years old, still 6 foot tall. She's nearly to be 7 foot tall. And again, she wasn't adopted and still had no friends in that orphanage, still bullied for her height. She was unwanted and isolated. However, she made one friend. And it was a stray puppy. A girl puppy. A puppy she took in as her only friend. She couldn't bring the puppy in the orphanage, knowing it was against rules to bring animals or keep them as pets. So she would make the puppy a makeshift shelter to one of her favorite places in the forest near the orphanage, and would come or even sneak out the orphanage to visit her puppy, bringing it food and water that she stole from the kitchen. She named the puppy Shiro's. Shiro was her joy and happiness. That was until that fateful day. Someone found out she had a puppy and has been feeding it the food she stole from the orphanage. Who ratted her out? Those kids. Those kids were envious at the fact she has a puppy. If they couldn't have one, then neither could she. So out of spite, they not only ratted her out and getting her into trouble with the orphanage staff, they blackmailed her to do whatever they said, and if she didn't do it, they would hurt Shiro, ordering her to do their chores and other needs. Hachishikuzuma refused and challenged them that they wouldn't dare, to show that they were serious. They kicked the poor puppy, which frightened Hachishikuzuma as she ran in urgency to her only friend and pushed the lead kid, who was boy, away from Shiro. The lead boy scowled, glaring at Hachishikuzuma, who held the puppy in comfort. As suddenly she was struck in the back of the head by a rock that was thrown by other kids. As Hakushaku fell on her knees after she was struck again with another rock and fell face planted into the ground, as Shiro fell out of her slender arms. Dazed and bruised from the attack, Hakushaku looked up and reached for Shiro, who she heard yelping and crying for her friend to help her. The lead boy was angry at what Hachishikuzuma did and decided to do the next thing that would break Hachishikuzuma's heart. He grabbed a nearby shovel and told one of his friends to grab the puppy and hold it down as he began to beat the puppy to death, as Hachishikuzuma widened her dark blue eyes that she inherited from her mother at the scene and cried tears. Seeing her only friend getting killed, she pleaded for them to stop, but the boy did listen. He had a sadistic smile on his face as Shiro's cries of pain filled the sky. After that, Shiro was dead and Hachishikuzuma could only stare in pure horror and silence. As she heard the kids laugh at her and insult her now dead puppy. Hachishikuzuma cried tears as she lowered her head crying softly. Unknown to the kids and bullies, Hachishikuzuma started glowing red. As she lifted her head and had glowing red demonic eyes, which terrified the kids and her assailants. Hachishikuzuma let out a demonic roar in the sky and went on a ballistic rampage on those kids, killing every last one of those bastards who bullied her, made her life hell, and took away her only friend, which broke the camel's back. The kids would scream for the adults to save them, but were too late. By the time the adults got there, Hachishikuzuma had already left, along with taking Shiro with her, but left all those dead brats behind for the orphanage staff to see. Hachishikuzuma cried and mourned for her friend Shiro and buried her in a nice grave. As the 6-foot-tall girl found herself covered in the blood of those kids she killed, feeling her rage flare up again at what those monsters did to her friend. It was at this point Hachishikuzuma hated children, and hated them with a passion. Not after what they did to her puppy. Hachishikuzuma would then visit the orphanage at night after her massacre. She would enter in the orphanage and set it on fire, killing the rest of the kids and the orphanage staff who did her wrong. As she used her newfound demonic powers to lock all the doors and windows in that orphanage, making it impossible for anyone to escape, as she watched the whole building set ablaze along with the screams of those inside it being burned alive to a crisp. Hachishikuzuma left that night and wasn't seen ever again after that. Years went by and Hachishikuzuma had matured into an adult. A very beautiful curvaceous woman with the right curves. Wearing a white dress, sandals, a straw hat, and has long ebony-colored hair that went past her shoulders. Looking like a splitting image of Retsuyachiru Unohana. She was finally 8 feet tall and could no longer grow after that. She had no name and decided to call herself Hachishikuzuma. After her growth and return, Hachishikuzuma has been killing children, whether they are boys or girls. She was dubbed as a child serial killer. She has killed more than 100 children a year. Whenever you are liked by Hachishikuzuma, you will die in a couple of days. There are even rumors that she eats children. Parents, grandparents, and caretakers alike lose children because of Hachishikuzuma. Once they take their sight off their children or young ones, they are gone in a split second by Hachishikuzuma. Humans has pleaded to Kami, or the monks, to do something about this demonic menace, for great monks were tasked to stop and defeat Hachishikuzuma. The monk of the west was the first to engage Hachishikuzuma. She was killed by Hachishikuzuma. The next monk to engage Hachishikuzuma was the north monk. He too met his end at Hachishikuzuma's hands. The monk of the south joined the fray and fought Hachishikuzuma head to head. The fight lasted for 10 whole straight days. The south monk was formidable and the strongest out of his other counterparts. As the fight lasted for 10 days, it finally came to an end. Hachishikuzuma became the winner, as the south monk had his soul ripped out of him by Hachishikuzuma. He was the first to fall prey to her soul absorption, having his strength and power. The next few days after her fight with the south monk, her demonic powers grew. She was growing stronger. She even awakened a hidden power within her to cause earthquakes. She can raise the dead, create illusions, can mimic and impersonate a child's older relative, can shape-shift, changing whatever form she likes except her height won't change. She suddenly started taking a liking to wielding swords, Nodachi swords, which is something she inherited from her late mother that she barely got to know or see. Hachishikuzuma is evolving into a Daiokai, a higher ranked demon, a greater demon, ascending into power beyond any demon's imagination. She found herself some friends. She met Kankandara in the dark forests. She met Siren at this very lagoon and beach area. Next week she went after the East Monk and to kill him. She wounded the East Monk and had nearly crippled him if it wasn't for the Elder Monk to save the East Monk at the last minute, as he created something by pleading with the gods to make something capable of stopping Hachishikuzuma. And so, the Jizo seal statue was created. Its purpose was to repel Hachishikuzuma away from children, or imprison her inside it. The East Monk and the Great Elder Monk both battled Hachishikuzuma. Badly wounded and injured the East Monk was, as he struggled with Hachishikuzuma, who used her earthquake power to destroy his path. The Elder Monk activated the Jizo seal statue, as its bindings would subdue the 8-foot-tall woman, and would drag her inside the statue as she made one last attempt to kill the East Monk before she was sealed away, but out of sheer luck the Elder sacrificed his life and became Hachishikuzuma's latest victim. As she was sealed inside the statue, it was all over. For many years in the Edo period of the West she had been imprisoned, until someone or something destroyed her prison and freed her. Reunited with her friends, she is now bringing them to Inanaki village and to become Naruto's wives. My friends, I have come to bring you both to my new home along with our yokai faction. My husband and I are leading it, and I want you two to join. Hachishikuzuma would say. Era? You have a lover? That is surprising, yet intriguing, Siren would say with a grin. He is a Daiokai too, like us. I made him one. He was formerly a human boy, she says, catching the two off guard. Her lover is a little boy. Knowing Hakashaka's history of hating kids and kills them, a former human boy. What's the sudden change? I thought you hated children? Aoi/Kankandara asked, facing her friend. This one particular boy is an exception. I still hold great hatred for children, but this one caught my attention and interest. You see, he's from the east, living in those shinobi villages in the elemental nations. His parents neglected him over his other two siblings and made him an outcast. His presence was what brought my attention. His need and wanting attention, love. All above. And that drawn me to him. Hakashaka would answer. Truthfully, the moment she and Naruto met each other in a dream, she looked into his eyes and could see herself in the boy. Except he has a family while she doesn't. She could relate to the pain of wanting attention, acceptance, and love. Something nobody gave her when she was child. Nobody wanted to play with her, be around her, and treated her like an outcast because of her height. And you made him into a yokai, how? Siren this time asked. He desired to be special. You see, his parents are doing some sort of prophecy and believe both of their children are in the center of it. But I strongly believe the boy named Naruto is the prophecy child. So I granted his wish by giving him some of my yokai blood to turn him and ascend him into a yokai like myself. Once the deed was done, well, the rest is history. No more he is a child but an adult now. My blood also aged him up. We both fell in love and became husband and wife, having 4 beautiful children. Hakashaka would continue, surprising the two that she has children of her own. What are your plans? Kankandara asked, now seeing where this is going. As she saw Hachi smiling, I plan to help him get his revenge. Make him hate his family. Putting him on the path of great vengeance and furious anger. And maybe we could dominate and conquer the west and the east. We could form an empire here in the west and unify the lands. By killing many warlords, daimyos, and the nobles, of course. Plus other yokai as well. Are the two of you interested in joining? I could share my husband with the two of you. He's very good in bed and well developed, Hakashaka answered, making the two blush and smile. As both the snake lady and mermaid exchanged glances at one another, then back at their friend. We are in. Kankandara and Siren both said in unison, making Hakashaka smile. Welcome, my friends. The 8-foot-tall lady says. With Hayakimaru and Hayakimaru, along with Teiko and Luna, were on their way back to their home, having done another outing. Luna, as Upper Whirlpool 3, kept her watch on Naruto-sama's children like the guard dog she is. Hayakimaru kept walking with his sister walking beside him and Luna behind them. Before the demon boy could continue walking, he heard something as he paused in his steps and turned to the right. Brother? Teiko asked, noticing him paused in his direction. Hayakimaru turned as he heard a gentle yet beautiful voice sing. As he walked to the source of it, not even answering his sister. What's with him? Luna asked. I don't know. What do you smell? Teiko asked the dog demon, who took a whiff in the air. A human girl, and she's not far. She's nearby a lake, Luna answered, using her great sense of smell that's 10 times as better than a dog's or Inuzuka's sense of smell. Let's go. Teiko says, following after her brother with Luna following her. Hayakimaru was in silence as he listened to the music. His soul sight glanced ahead at a pure white soul. What a gentle voice, he thought, still walking and following the sound of that voice. As he made it past the trees, he spotted a girl in the lake. Still singing, however, her singing paused when she realized she's not alone and looked to Hayakimaru's direction. Both their eyes met each other. She stood up from the lake, giving him her attention. Are you okay? The girl asked. The girl has long brown hair that curls at the edges, and brown eyes. She has her bangs laid across her face, which reaches her mouth. She wears a frayed red kimono with white flower patterns. Hayakimaru blushed at her appearance, taking in her features with his eyes. That was beautiful, he says to her, making her smile. Thanks. Who are you? She asked, smiling at him. Hayakimaru Uzumaki is my name. He answered. Mio is my name. The girl named Mio introduced herself. What are you doing out here, Hayakimaru? She asked. My sister and I, including our companion, were on our way home. He answered her question. Hayakimaru. Teiko called out to her brother as both she and Luna saw him with the human girl, making Mio turn to both of them, noticing one of them didn't look human. A dog demon. She looked worried at the sight of a demon. It's okay. Luna is a friend, he assured her. Brother, who is this? Teiko asked him. Teiko, this is Mio. Mio, this is my sister Teiko Uzumaki and our companion Luna. Hayakimaru would introduce. Nice meeting you. Mio greets to the two. With Kushina, the redhead Uzumaki was currently in a bar of some sorts talking with a bartender. I need your help. Can you tell me where is Hachishikuzuma? Kushina asked the bartender, who looked pale as snow as the entire bar itself went silent as gasps were heard all across the bar when Hachishikuzuma's name was brought up. Many eyes went to Kushina. Where is Hachishikuzuma? Why in the world would you want to look for her? The bartender asked Kushina, who gave him a semi-sad face. Because she took my son from me. And I've been told that she resides here in the west. I'm from the east. Kushina replied. I don't know, lady. But I don't think I can be of any help. Surely you know about Hakashaka's tale, and what happens to children. They are never seen again, he told her. Please, I have to find her. I know my son is alive. And that she didn't kill him. She begged as a booming drunken laugh echoed from the room as all eyes turned to a drunk 40-year-old woman who laughed at Kushina. Did you just say that you know? Your son is alive? Bitch, please. We all know what happens to children when they see Hachishikuzuma. The drunk woman says, glaring at Kushina, who glared back. What's that supposed to mean, you drunken whore? Kushina snarled. Because it's bullshit that Hachishikuzuma would spare children. I bet you must be either drunk or high from smoking. Just learn to accept that you lost your kid to the 8-foot bitch. Spat the drunken lady with Kushina looking angry at that. No way in hell I'm doing that. I'm not going to abandon my son and will find him. Kushina shot back. Oh? And what makes you so sure, you red-headed bitch? You need to wake up. Your son is gone to that demon. All of us here in this bar lost our children to that monster. I lost my son as well to that 8-foot bitch years ago. The woman spat in hatred as she could never forget how she lost her own son that day when she entrusted a babysitter to look after him while she had work to attend. The babysitter was so focused on her own needs and left her son unattended for Hakashaka to snatch. I believe my son is alive and that she did not kill him. Yelled Kushina at the woman. She could sympathize with her that she lost her own child, but she believes Naruto is alive and that Hachishikuzuma has him under her influence, and against his will. She is determined to find him and bring him home. Believe what you want, you stupid bitch. It's all in your head. That's what Hachishikuzuma does to you. I wouldn't be surprised if Hachishikuzuma ate him, or probably before the woman could say anything Kushina socked her in the face, knocking her out cold. She heard enough as she glared at the others who were silent. She would sigh, realizing that these people aren't going to help her. She would leave the bar not saying a word. Now what will she do? She will have to keep asking the people here in this village if they've seen any sightings or leads of Hachishikuzuma anywhere. If not, she will have to go to the next village and ask, "I'm coming, Sochi, I'm coming to save you." She would be on her way to continue asking for any information about Hachishikuzuma and where she could be found. The 8-foot urban legend could be anywhere in the West. If she was a ghost, where would she reside at? She must keep looking. She could feel it in her blood that Naruto is out there and very much alive. She's not going to give up looking for him. With Haikimaru and Ko, after introducing themselves, Mio would introduce the three to an abandoned temple with children. Children whom are orphans, some of them were missing limbs. As the group turned to Mio, "You and all these children live here alone?" Teiko asked, facing Mio. "Yes. Most of them are orphans, brought them all here and I ended up taking care of them." Mio would reply to her, "How can you all survive like this? Aren't you worried about the lords of the land samurai would come here?" Spoke Luna, looking at the children. "We are somewhat worried, but I feel we are safe here." Mio would reply. As Haikimaru would then speak up, "Why not come with us? You and the children to Inanaki village. Our parents own that village. We currently are housing refugees who are tired of the idiocy of these warlords." Haikimaru would suggest as she looked to him with surprise. "You live in a village? And your parents own it?" Mio asked as Haikimaru nodded. "But know this. My parents are both demons. But we do not seek to harm humans," he would say. "So would you rather stay here in this abandoned temple or come with us?" Haikimaru offered while Mio was in silence and thought on this. Perhaps her and these orphan children can live in a peaceful village run by demons. "Let me talk to the children first," Mio would say as she would walk to the children, gathering them up. "Real smooth, their brother," Teiko says with him, glancing at his sister. "What is that supposed to mean, Teiko?" Haikimaru asked his twin sister. "If I didn't know any better, you look like you have a crush on Mio," Teiko would say with Luna snickering in agreement, causing the boy to blush lightly, looking away. That's not what it looks like," he spoke very shyly, as Teiko put on her shit-eating grin that went ear to ear. "Are you sure?" his sister says in a teasing tone as Haikimaru's face went beet red. Suddenly they stopped when Mio returned to them. "We have agreed to come to your village, Haikimaru-kun. Me and the children are ready to go," she told them. "Then it's best we get moving now, before sundown, knowing demons will lurk out in the night and around sundown," Luna would say. "Luna is right. Let's move," Haikimaru would say as they group along with Mio and the children would prepare to leave the abandoned temple. With Jiraiya and the task force, Jiraiya, Yuga along with a platoon of Umbu are currently making camp. Hana and her dogs are also taking a break due to them tracking Kushina's scent. Shursui Uchiha is also among them. Tsunade wasn't that far behind. Jiraiya sighed while looking towards the west, which is possibly where Kushina has gone to. He and the task force left Konoha yesterday and are en route to find Kushina and bring her back. And if push comes to shove, should Kushina refuse and resist, the group will have to use force to bring her back. None of them wanted to use force on the Uzumaki woman, Tsunade especially, and she hopes it doesn't come to this. Tsunade hopes she can be the voice of reason and talk sense into Kushina to come back. Jiraiya sighed in annoyance. He shouldn't be doing this. He should be in Konoha training Menma along with possibly training Naruto, while also at the same time should be doing his research, but he can't with Kushina going rogue to look for a vengeful, ungrateful little brat named Naruto. Why couldn't the fucking brat just not ruin things? He suspects Naruto is in league with Hachishikuzuma to get back at the village and to an extent maybe his family and his father for not being trained because he's not the prophecy child. He hopes to Kami that this mission is worth it. He knows Kushina will not back down and will not return with them. She's too stubborn, and he could be very well correct that she will not listen to reason. He needs to make up a plan should things get nasty when they finally catch up to her. If anything, Kushina should just forget all about Naruto and focus on her two children who needed for this prophecy. He just hopes things will go smoothly on this mission. Hell, even if he fought Kushina, he knows that without Sage Mode he wouldn't be able to defeat her. Since the toads broken ties with him, and want nothing to do with him, or the village due to Hachishikuzuma along with what Jiraiya and Minato did to Naruto, meaning that he will have to depend on Tsunade to fight Kushina if need to be, and which will be painful for the Senju woman to do. Hopefully he can convince his teammate to do that. In Inaki village, Naruto would be in the library, having a new appearance. His hair grew longer and dark red. Skin paler with flame-like marks on his face, and was wearing a purple kimono. Suddenly Nakime appeared by his side. Naruto-sama. Hachishikuzuma has returned, she reported. Thank you, Nakime. I will be there at once, he told her as he vanished in an instant. Now at the entrance of the village, Naruro saw his wife along with Kankandara and Siren besides her. I am back, Naruto-kun, my friends. This is Naruto-kun. Love the new look, my hubby, she says, looking at her husband. Greetings, I am Kankandara. Kankandara would introduce. Siren is the name. A pleasure to meet you, Siren says while Naruto stares at them. Welcome to Inanaki village. Naruto would welcome the two yokai with his 6 eyes glancing at them. Inanaki village, Naruto in his new demonic appearance, having longer dark red hair tied in a ponytail, skin much paler, flame-like marks on his face, and was wearing a kimono. On his face he has 6 eyes, and he looks like Kokushibo. Let's just say he's a combination of Kokushibo and Muzan from Demon Slayer. Being a yokai, Naruto can shape-shift and change his appearance in any way he wants. His 6 eyes glanced at the other 2 yokai standing besides his wife as they introduced themselves to him. Kankandara/Aoi is a former shrine maiden who was backstabbed by her family and the village she swore to protect with her own life by feeding her to a giant demonic snake, and that because she was a shrine maiden, a powerful one at that. She put a powerful curse on herself to become that snake and seek revenge on the villagers and her family who betrayed her. Such a tragic story. Siren is just a man-eating mermaid that loves to consume human flesh and sink countless fishing boats, and such, devouring any human and taking them to a watery grave. Her entire backstory is unknown to him. I'm sure you told them that we have humans that live here in our village, and that they are not to be harmed? Naruto would ask his wife, who nodded. Of course, Naruto-kun. I've already told them the ground rules here in the village that we own. Hachishikuzuma would say, walking over to her husband as both Kankandara and Siren can see how happy Hachishikuzuma is. We are back. Luna's voice called out, making the Yokais turn and glance at Hikemaru, Teiko, Luna, Mio, and a group of children. Ah? Who is this? Siren asked. The one with the mask is my daughter Teiko. The other is my son Hikemaru. Hakashaka answered. They are strong, I can sense their auras, Kankandara would say as she wondered just how powerful her and Naruto's child would be like together. Welcome back, children. Pray tell us who you brought with you. Naruto would ask as Hikemaru spoke. Father, this girl beside me, her name is Mio. And these children are orphans. They lived in an abandoned temple, we thought to bring them here. Hikemaru would answer as both his mother and father exchanged glances at one another and looked at their son. Well, that is great, my son. More villagers, why not give them a tour of Inanaki village? Naruto would tell his son, whom nodded, and would gesture the others to follow him through the magnificent revived Inanaki village. It seems like Hikemaru has a crush on that Mio girl, father. He won't stop looking at her and asking her to sing while on the way home. Teiko would say, pulling down her mask to reveal her ear-to-ear smile, which causes Naruto to chuckle. That I can see. Well, let's have some dinner and talk. Since we all have new faces here in our village, Naruto would say with everyone nodding. Hours would go by as Mio and the children had been settled into new homes to live in. Siren and Kankandara took residence in Infinity Castle, while Hakashaka cooked dinner for the family. Until it was night time and everyone would be in bed, Hachishikuzuma and Naruto would be in bed together with his face against her massive boobs. They were awake for a while as they chatted for some time. I hope you don't mind me sharing you with Siren-chan and Aoi-chan. Naruto-kun. They need some love too, and with you as leader of your own clan and family, I feel that you should have multiple lovers. What do you say? Hachishikuzuma suggested, stroking her husband's hair. Well, I don't seem against it. I would like a bigger family. Naruto would muse, smiling, still laying his wife's boobs as if they are pillows. How do you feel on conquering the West and make it all ours, Naruto-kun? Would you love being emperor? She would ask her husband. Emperor, huh? That does sound better than being a kaiga or village leader. Yet we are still finding recruits for our 12 whirlpools. We only have 4 upper whirlpools and 1 lower whirlpool. Maybe tomorrow I will go in search of a recruit around here in the West or find someone with good skill, Naruto would reply, looking up at the ceiling. Maybe I should come with you. She looks down at him. I don't see why not. Yes. Me and you together will go find a recruit, he would say with a smile at his 8-foot-tall wife as they both would drift to sleep. The next day, Hikemaru. You and Teiko are both in charge of this village while me and your mother are away. Naruto told his son, who nodded. Understandable, father. Be well, you and mother both. Hikemaru would say with both parents smiling at him as they would leave the Inanaki village together. Elsewhere, both Naruto and Hachishikuzuma would be somewhere in the southwest of the land of the West, going through lands and lands. Traveling together. Bandits would have attempted to attack the two or mug them, only for them to be brutally murdered by Naruto, beheading them with just a simple swipe of his claws along with bisecting them. The two would find themselves in a vacant village that looks like it's been recently massacred. Dead men as villagers? No females? Not a sign of life at all? Both looked on in alert, and that they sensed the presence of a yokai here. As they walked together they spotted dead cows, lots of them. Hachishikuzuma stared at one of the dead cows. A frown appeared on her face. Then her eyes widened. Now realizing what a bellowing loud moo had broke the silence of the two as they whipped around and saw a 7 feet 6 inches figure that resembled a cow, but it had a womanly-like figure with the largest brown skin/fur. With thick legs and plump body. A cow tail. Large horns. And black eyes full of rage and anger. In its arms it held an axe. Its gaze was focused on Naruto and Hakashaka-sama. What is Naruto started to say, until Hakashaka spoke. Gozu, she said in a soft whisper. Gozu? He asked. Gozu means cowhead. I've heard of this before and the lore behind this village, she says, holding her sword focusing at Gozu, who looks at them with the intent to kill. As she had a good idea on what happened here. So what now? He asked, holding his sword of the dead. I'll explain after we defeat her. First let's subdue her. Not kill her. Hakashaka-sama would say with him nodding. Gozu bellowed a guttural moo and charged at the two with her axe. That she had used to slaughter the villagers and cows here. Elsewhere, Kushina was around at the same location as she heard the loud moo. Along with sensing 3 powerful yokai-like auras. Could it be? It has to be Hachishikuzuma. She thought, looking determined and angry. You will give him back to me, you bitch. Kushina says, heading for the location. She has to assume that Hachishikuzuma is there. Vacant village. Gozu swung her axe madly at both Naruto and Hachishikuzuma. As her bellows and growls were aggressive, the cow-headed woman lunged and delivered a heavy blow with her axe towards Hachishikuzuma, who blocked the blow as it was beginning to push the 8-foot woman back slightly. She's strong as if she's a yokai? But it's probably expected if one is to wear the head of Gozu, who is known to be the most fearful of yokai. Thought Hachishikuzuma, who backed away and lunged a swipe of her sword at Gozu, who moved away and attempted to strike again with her axe, but Naruto kicked the cow-headed woman down and also kicked the axe out of her hand. The Gozu woman tried to get back up, but suddenly Hachishikuzuma's hair had extended to great lengths and restrained the cow-headed woman and had her pinned to the ground with her fingertips pointing to the forehead as yokai chakra would flow off her fingertips. She's using her own yokai chakra to ward off the spirit of Gozu within this woman. Once it was done, Hachishikuzuma let her go and moved away as the cow head would form into a human with a female look. She has a terrified expression, and she has black hair, but she has cow horns and cow ears. Naruto was taken back that Gozu reverted back to a woman. Where am I? What happened? The woman asked. You don't know what happened? Who are you? Naruto asks. I am Michio, says until she froze, now remembering it all as horror appeared on her face. The men of this village kidnapped her and subjected her into an abnormal cow-like yokai, and had her wear the mask or head of Gozu, which turned her into a cow. She was pregnant at the time and lost her child. Her husband, who tried to save her, did nothing as he was forced to watch what she was going through. As she was turned into a cow, she unknowingly felt the spirit of cowhead manifest within her and took control of her since she was saddened and angry. With great vengeance and furious anger, the spirit inspired her lust for vengeance upon these male villagers who ruined her life and turned her into a cow. After the process, Michio was suddenly possessed and given in to her rage and anger at the villagers. It was right after that moment the cow had altered her body to look human-like, and when she broke free from her pen she found an axe and started butchering the cows that were in the pen, which she killed the cow-like yokai who assaulted her first, then killed the others. This soon alerted the villagers, who all came out to witness Michio slaughter their cows with an axe. Her black eyes were full of untold rage as she then soon attacked them, killing them, slaughtering them like the worthless cattle they are. As countless blood-curdling screams were heard in the dead night, she showed no mercy as she continued to slaughter them. Many of them begged and pleaded for mercy and their lives, but Michio, who was possessed by Gozu, ignored their cries and pleas for mercy. Mercy? What about mercy for her unborn child? What about mercy when they had a demonic cow to sexually assault her? Oh no. They deserved no mercy at all. They all deserve a special place in hell. She continued her bloody massacre, killing every male villager, not leaving a single one alive. She even killed her husband, whom was the last man left alive. He tried to talk to her and get her back to her senses, but she was far too consumed in her own rage, angry at him for not doing anything to save her or their unborn child, and that he was better off dead. So she killed him. Michio suddenly had tears in her eyes, crying as she now remembered it all. I see, so you remember everything. You practically did the West a favor by massacring these cow-like cultists, Hachishikuzuma says with a grim expression. This village here was ran by a cult? Naruto asked. Yes. And this cult has been going on for decades. It's a wonder why there aren't any women here. It was an all-male village who all are a cult. They target pregnant women and subject them to a cow-like yokai whom they see as a deity of some sorts, turning them into cows through sexually intercourse with the said cow demon. And after the process is completed, they bring out cow masks or cow heads that are laced with fragments of cow head's spiritual essence. Once the cow head is on to the said woman, they lose themselves and their humanity altogether, becoming nothing but cows. Hakashaku explained with Michio looking up to her. I don't understand. What makes me different from the other women who went through the same treatment as I did? she asked the 8-foot woman. I don't quite know, but I could be right or wrong about this. Gozu's spirit probably felt your pain, sadness, and anger flow within you that he possibly took a liking to you. Yokai are known to be empowered with vengeance, and Gozu was a yokai of vengeance. I know of his story. His tale is said to be so horrifying that people who ever hear of his story will foam at the mouth and die out of pure fright. As for the women who went through the same process, as you probably gave up and lost the will to do anything about it. Hachishikuzuma explained as best as she could. She remembered Gozu/Cowhead. She heard of his tale during her days as a yokai. Michio would look away, seeing that makes some sense, but the question is what will happen to her. She has no husband, she has no child, she has nothing left. I don't know what to do, Michio says softly with a saddened look. Come with us. We feel your pain. Naruto would say, having sympathy for the woman who did not deserve such treatment, and glad that the sons of bitches in this village got what they deserved. We are not human either. We are yokai too. De yokai to be exact. Hachishikuzuma would add. So I'm not human anymore? Michio say, touching her cow ears and horns on top of her head. Not anymore. The head of Gozu likely have bonded itself onto you and turned you into a cow yokai, Michio was thinking. She has nowhere to go or to return to. I will join you too. What are your names? Michio asked the two de yokai. Naruto Uzumaki is my name. Naruto told her his name, Hachishikuzuma. Hakushaku greeted with Michio going wide-eyed at the most famous yokai in all of the West. There you are, says a all-familiar voice. Naruto froze. That voice, no, it can't be. He slowly turned around and saw who it was. Hachishikuzuma also turned around, glancing at the unexpected appearance of Kushina Uzumaki, who held her sword glaring at Hachishikuzuma. I never guessed that you would come here. Hachishikuzuma says with a smile. I came here for one single purpose, and that is to bring my son back from you. Now where is he and what have you done with him? Kushina spat, glaring at her with all the hate she could muster. Naruto was having mixed feelings about this. What the hell is she doing here? How did she know where he was, to begin with? Your son? You sure you're not talking about your favorite son, Menma? Or do you mean the son you neglected? Hachishikuzuma shot back. Shut up. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Where is he? Kushina glared with rage. An evil smile appeared on Hachishikuzuma's face. He is much closer than you think, the 8-foot-tall woman says with her evil smile, making Kushina look from her to the male standing beside her. No, it's not possible. She doesn't want to believe it. This is just another of the ghost tricks. No, that's not Naruto, she said with a glare. For the last time. What have you done with my boy? Kushina spat, getting frustrated. He is your boy. Hakushaku corrected with her grin remained. What are you doing here, Kushina? Naruto says with her looking to him in shock. A mixture of feelings ran through Kushina as she glanced at the demon male who spoke her name. No, just a no. I refuse to accept this. She thought with horror and pain, but she searched her feelings. Na Naruto? Sochi? She said in a whisper. I'm not your son anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Now answer my question, what are you doing here? He told her coldly as her heart shattered into a million pieces. She didn't want to believe it, but this is her son. Her son has been turned into a yokai. Has her nightmare become true? A look of hurt appeared on her face and tears began to swell up. Naruto, it's me, your mother. I have come to save you from Hachishikuzuma. She's evil. She is manipulating you. Kushina answered, hoping to sway her son, hoping to use whatever and if hope to get her son to trust her, but given how she treated him, she doubts it. Naruto narrowed his 6 eyes with burning rage. You are not my mother. You are nothing but a mere memory. I have no mother. You coming here to save me from my wife is just a waste of time. She's done more for me than you and Minato could have done. He spat with anger. Kushina looked horrified to learn that her son is married to Hachishikuzuma. As more sadness and pain increased as her gaze went to Hakushaku-sama. What did you do to him? Kushina hissed, glaring at Hachishikuzuma. I did nothing to him. The 8-foot yokai replied. Stop lying. I know you did something to turn him against me. Kushina spat. You've done that yourself. You and your husband were selfish in neglecting Naruto by favoring his 2 siblings over him. I sensed his pain and need for attention. So I came by to take him with me. I never took him against his will. He came with me willingly. Hakushaku spoke with slight coldness in her voice. Kushina looked from her son, who was looking at her in anger and hatred, which saddened her as she looked at Hachishikuzuma with great anger. She knew the 8-foot woman was right. They were selfish, and she wants to make it right. Naruto, please, my son, I know you are angry with me and have every right to be, and I know I can never make it right. Ever since you vanished that day, I hated myself for what has happened. I would never forgive myself. I would give anything to make it all right again. I would give away my soul to take you back and raise you and given you the attention you deserved. Please come back with me, leave that monster, and let's be a family again, Kushina says with tears in her eyes, facing her son, who is now a yokai. As I said before, I have no mother. I'm happy with a family of my own. Go back to the east and be with Minato. He told her with venom. I won't leave you. Not this time. I left the village to find you and bring you back to me. You don't have to see Minato again, she told her son as there was silence among them. This, however, got Hachishikuzuma's attention at the fact she left the village willingly. Naruto narrowed his 6 eyes and reached for his sword. That was until Hachishikuzuma put her hand on his shoulder and whispered into his ear. Let me handle this, Naruto-kun. She told her husband. Can't you see Kushina? Naruto-kun is happy. He is happy with me. I've done more for him than you could ever have. Hachishikuzuma spoke with a vindictive smile which struck a nerve with Kushina. He doesn't want nothing to do with you. You should just leave, she says as Kushina gripped her sword tightly, glaring at the monster who turned her son into a yokai and made him hate her even more. I'm not leaving him, Kushina yelled, charging at Hachishikuzuma, who smiled anticipating this. Hachishikuzuma outstretched her hand and used telekinesis on Kushina, holding her in mid-air. Along with choking Kushina, Kushina felt her throat tightened as if something was choking her windpipe. Then she was sent back into a ruined house. Hachishikuzuma followed. Suddenly golden chains shot forward and Hachishikuzuma immediately went intangible, letting the chains pass her. As Hachishikuzuma raised her fist and a white bubble formed around it, Kushina looked ahead, prepared for anything. Hachishikuzuma punched the air, causing cracks to manifest, and an earth-shattering earthquake punch was sent directly at Kushina, who widened her eyes as the area around them got destroyed. Kushina was sent flying away and crashed against the ground. Kushina got up weakly, now looking battered and covered in dirt. She reached for her sword, and for a split second Hachishikuzuma appeared above her with her own sword and slashed at her, only for Kushina to block it and roll out of the way. Both faced each other as Kushina stood up, glaring at Hachishikuzuma. The two would proceed to exchange blows with their swords. Hachishikuzuma was easily gaining the upper hand, putting lots of heavy blows upon Kushina, who blocked each of them but was struggling. Can't you see, Kushina? Naruto belongs to me. He belongs to his own family. Yet you fail to understand that he wants nothing to do with you or the family back in the east who let him down. Hachishikuzuma spoke as Kushina narrowed her eyes. And I still want to make things right. I admit I was wrong. I was wrong for neglecting him. I strongly believe I have a chance to make things right for him. Kushina shot back, gripping her sword, and lunged forward at her, who blocked her sword strike as the two got into a deadlock clash. Looking at one another, Kushina with all her might and strength pushed all pressure on Hachishikuzuma's sword, but Hachishikuzuma was also doing the same thing, and she was pushing Kushina back as she broke free from Kushina's deadlock and slashed her sword at Kushina's left arm, who yelled in pain, and then Hachishikuzuma did a follow slash at the red-headed woman's thigh, making the redhead fall to the ground, clutching her slash marks on her left arm and thigh. Hachishikuzuma kicked her sword away and pointed her own sword directly at Kushina. You've lost, Kushina Uzumaki, Hachishikuzuma said in an even tone, facing the defeated redhead. I could kill you here and now just to spare Naruto-kun's pain in seeing you again. But I'm having second thoughts on that. You did mention that you would do anything to make it all right for Naruto-kun, right? Even going so far to give away your own soul? Hachishikuzuma spoke with a calm look, with her sword still pointing at Kushina. I would do anything to make Naruto happy. I want to make everything right for him, Kushina answered as Hakashaka's smile turned dark. That can be arranged. You will be his slave. Hachishikuzuma spoke with an evil grin. What? Kushina stammered with horror and shock in her voice, looking up at the 8-foot woman. You heard me. You will be his personal slave, Hachishikuzuma says with an evil smile, enjoying Kushina's look of horror. No. The redhead tried to say. It's decided. You will be his slave. Unless you want to die. I would have thought you would do anything to get back in Naruto-kun's good graces, Hachishikuzuma says with Kushina looking up at her in horror. Aye, Kushina muttered. It's the only way if you desire to get back into my husband's life. You are to be his slave. He no longer acknowledges you as his mother anymore. To him you are nothing but a mere memory to him. A stranger, so to say. You must come to terms to becoming his slave. And by doing so is that your soul will not only belong to me, but to him as well, she says as she could feel the conflict within Kushina. The red-haired woman was conflicted. Kushina had realized her fate will soon fall into the hands of Hachishikuzuma and her son Naruto. She has two choices. First choice, become a slave to her own son, a son she wrongfully neglected, and will have to do whatever Hachishikuzuma and her son tells her to do, living the life as a slave. The second choice would be death. Hachishikuzuma would kill her, meaning she came all this way for nothing, only to fail and die, and that her son will still hate her and resent her regardless for what she has done. More and more conflict grew within her. What could she do? What was the right thing to do? Even if she made an attempt to fight back, she knew Hachishikuzuma will kill her in moments before she could do anything, and that the 8-foot yokai is a lot stronger than her. Even if she managed to defeat Hachishikuzuma, her own son will fight her and will possibly kill her, as she feared in her nightmares. But she wants to make amends for her son. She wants to be there for him when she should have done from the start. Well, Kushina? I'm waiting? What will it be? Hakashaka says with her sword still pointed at Kushina. She has a hunch Kushina will go directly to what she wants. She knows she will have to convince her husband to keep his mother as his slave. Convert her into a loyal, submissive sex slave. Corrupt her and turn her. Yes, motivate her husband to unleash his rage and frustration upon his mother. For all the years of sadness, loneliness, and neglect she has done to him. Get revenge by corrupting and converting his mother into his own slave. Now that is pure vengeance. And she wants to see will Kushina do what she expects her to. After all, Kushina owed Naruto that much. Kushina lowered her head, knowing the absolute consequences. If she becomes Naruto's slave, she knows there is no turning back. She can never go home, she can never see her friends or family again. Hopefully she can convince Hakashaka and Naruto to not harm Menma or Naruto. She wants all her children to be equally loved and brought back into a family again. She wasn't so sure about Minato knowing the path he is on with his sensei. She just hopes that he still has a brain to at least try and make amends with his son while he still has a chance. And don't do any stupid mistakes, and if he wouldn't make amends then he's a lost cause, but there is still hope for Naruto and Menma. If she is to really reconnect with her son, then she will have to be his slave then. Menma, Naruto, Minato, forgive me. But I have to do this if I want to reconnect with Naruto. I already lost him once, I can't afford to lose him again, and will never leave his side, Kushina thought mentally as she looked up at the 8-foot woman. I will be his slave if that's what it will take. Kushina finally says with resignation in her tone as Hachishikuzuma's evil smile widened as she looked more smug. Hook, line, and sinker. Hakashaku spoke mentally with an evil grin. You wait right here, she told the redhead as she snapped her fingers, summoning 12 sumo cons to surround Kushina and watch her as she would walk to her husband. Naraku, in a word, Hakashaku says as he would walk towards her, while Michio watched the 2-day yokai walk away, slightly having a private word with one another. As the cow yokai woman turned her attention at the cow pen where she had gained a human form thanks to Gozu altering her body when she was a cow, making her look similar to that of a minotaur with a plump body. She would walk into the pen and looked at all the slaughtered cows and calves. A wave of sadness appeared on her face as tears even shed. She knew that half of these cows were once women, and that these calves are possibly their children who were also turned into cows through sexual intercourse with that cow yokai who sexually assaulted them. Those babies who turned into cows survived while hers did not. A part of her was glad that her unborn child did not have to suffer the fate as these young calves who could have been potentially eaten by these male villagers. Michio wept lightly as she grabbed a shovel and would start giving these women who were cows a proper burial along with their children that she slaughtered. As she recalled how Hachishikuzuma told her that right after these women before her suffered the same fate as she once did, they would lose themselves and their humanity, becoming nothing but cows. She killed them though and freed them through death, where they and their children can rest peacefully and go right to heaven. She is going to bury them outside of the village because she wants to burn this village to the ground along with the sick bastards who made many women and unborn children suffer by turning them into cattle. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Hachishikuzuma, you want me to what? Naruto says with a narrowed gaze from his 6 eyes, looking at his wife whom just told her that Kushina Uzumaki will become his slave. Let her be your slave, Naruto-kun. I think it's poetically fitting for her to become your slave. After all she's done to you? Don't you want to get back at her? Get back at the family who neglected you? Don't you wish to take your anger, frustration, and rage out on her? Surely you desire revenge on her for favoring your siblings and ignored your needs and wants. As if they are Kami's children, Hachishikuzuma would point out. As Naruto thought it over, narrowing his 6 eyes, recalling how his mother would always ignore him and would tell him, "Not now, Naruto, I'm busy with your sister and brother, or maybe another time, Naruto. Right now I have to train your brother and sister with your father." His hatred for his mother was immeasurable, thinking how he would try to tell her that Menma would always pick on him and get him into trouble, putting the blame on him when he himself did not do it, and how Kushina and Minato would send him to his room while Menma just smiled smugly. Naruto clenched his fists, gritting his teeth. Make her your slave. Break her spirit and mind. She doesn't deserve your forgiveness. This will be her eternal punishment for all the neglect she has done to you. Take your revenge on her. Hakashaku would say as she would hear Naruto growl lightly and look over to Kushina, who is still surrounded by sumo cons. This could also be perfect revenge directed at his ex-father by making his wife his personal bitch. I'll do it, he says with determination and great anger as Hachishikuzuma smiled. As the two would walk over to Kushina, Kushina for her part looked up at her son, who gave her a cold look. From this day forth, Kushina Uzumaki, you are my slave. And to ensure that you are mine, your soul belongs to me. By soul bound, he told her, raising his hand to her. As she looked worried, a red aura shot directly at Kushina as she yelled, feeling her soul being bounded to Naruto as a demonic choker would appear on her neck with a chain linked to it as it would be extended and right into Naruto's hands. Let me make this perfectly clear. You are to not call me your son ever again. I have no mother. Not anymore. You will refer to me as Naruto-sama. Understand? Naruto spat with venom at his mother, who looked saddened and nodded her head. Good. Now get up. We are going home. When we get there I will discuss more rules and regulations along with your permanent life as my slave. He commanded as she did as told, knowing she will have to do everything to keep him happy. Michio. Come on, let's go. Hachishikuzuma called out until she and her husband noticed that the cow woman was not in the village, but outside of it digging with a shovel. They would go to her. Michio? What are you doing? Naruto asked politely. I'm giving the women and their unborn children proper burials. You see, I've killed them in my murderous state. I've freed them through death. Now they die free from remaining as cows, she replied to him with sadness. Oh, I see, let my minions help. He summoned several shinobi khans as they all would make proper burials for all the women who turned into cows along with their children. For a half an hour they buried every woman turned cow into their graves along with their children who are now at peace and finally rested. Michio would leave flowers for each grave along with giving them a prayer. Right after all of that, they set the village on fire, burning it to the ground, and would leave with Kushina Uzumaki following them, who looked glum and defeated, having to accept her slave life. Konoha at the moment. Minato was pacing back and forth in his office. He still hasn't heard from Jiraiya and the task force for any updates if they found Kushina and captured her, meaning they must still be looking for her. He promised his kids that their mother would be brought back. It would pain him and them if she never returned. He has to have faith in Jiraiya to find his wife and bring her home. He can't afford to lose her. Kushina-chan, please come home, he thought sadly, looking out the window glancing at the horizon. Inanaki village. Hachishikuzuma, Naruto, Michio and a chained Kushina Uzumaki have returned to their village. Entering the entrance. Whoa, this place looks nice. What is it called again, Naruto-san? Michio asked as he smiled at her. This is Inanaki village. It was once a cursed village. Hachi-chan and I own it, and made it as our home and safe haven for those who wish to live here. Human and demon can coexist here. Building new buildings for more villagers to live in. Most of the villagers here are refugees from the idiocy of these warlords and their damn war. Plus other demons out there too. People who lost their homes and such can live here. Naruto explained to her. As Michio looked on in awe, Kushina would also glance at the village her son and Hachishikuzuma owns. It looks so peaceful here and beautiful. The four would now walk into the village as they would be greeted by their children in third upper whirlpool. Luna, welcome back, mother and father. We sensed your presence, Hayakimura would say. Besides him are his sisters, Teiko, Sadako and Kayako. Welcome back, Naruto-sama. Luna says, thank you children, and Luna, Michio and Kushina. These four are our children. Hayakimura Uzumaki, Teiko Uzumaki, Sadako Uzumaki and Kayako Uzumaki. And the dog yokai is Luna. She is our upper whirlpool third rank. Naruto would introduce. Hello? Michio the cow yokai says, smiling warmly at them. Kushina's POV. Kushina looked shocked at these four children. Before her are both Naruto's and Hachishikuzuma's children. They all look like their mother. Sadako looks like a bit of Naruto. These four are her grandchildren. It was no surprise that Naruto dropped the Namikaze's name and instead kept Uzumaki. Which means he holds a lot of resentment towards his father Minato, not that she blamed him. Children, this redhead is your grandmother. She is our slave. I will tell you what her fate is when we reach our home, Infinity Castle. Luna, would you be a dear and escort Michio to a house that she can have as her very own? Naruto would say until Michio decided to say something. Wait. Is it alright if I live in this Infinity Castle with you, Naruto-kun? And Hachishikuzuma? I want to live with you too and your family. I feel indebted for what you two have done. Please let me stay. She says, looking at the two. This caused Naruto and Hachishikuzuma to exchange looks at one another until Hachishikuzuma smiled. Let her join with us, Naruto. His wife says, well, I see nothing wrong with that. You may stay in our castle. Let's go everyone, he says as he pulled the chain that is connected to Kushina's collar, as he and his family would go straight for Infinity Castle. Infinity Castle, welcome back, Naruto-sama. Neikime greeted her master. Thank you, Neikime. Neikime, would you be a dear and lead Michio to one of our many guest rooms in the castle? He told her as she nodded and gestured Michio to follow her, who did, to meeting room. He told his family, with Luna heading off to her room in the Infinity Castle. As they made it to the meeting room with lots of space and various rooms, stairs, and such, and think of it like the upper moon meeting area, on your knees. Naruto hissed at Kushina, who complied with this as she gazed up at her son alongside his wife and their children. As all four of them would gaze at their grandmother. Since you are my slave, you will also be a maid here in Infinity Castle. Naruto says with a narrowed gaze. Your list of duties here will consist of waking me up along with our children and prepare breakfast for us. There will be times where you will be making lunch and dinner for our family, and the upper whirlpools and lower whirlpools, including our guests that stays in the castle like King Kandara and Siren. Not only will you cook for this castle, but will clean it. Since you are a former Konoha Kunoichi, you are allowed to use your skills to defend this castle as if it was your home. Naruto would say in a voice of commanding and authority. Yes, so I mean, Naruto-sama, Kushina replied. And when I am not around, my wife Hachishikuzuma and my children are in charge. Even my special guests like Michio, Siren and Kankandara. And my upper and lower ranks if they wish to use your services. Only difference is that their orders cannot override mine. Because you're my personal slave. Naruto would add with Kushina looking at Hachishikuzuma's vindictive smile. Permission to speak, Kushina says, aloud. He replied, please Naruto, I know you're very angry at us and have every right to be. You know your father will send someone to look for me, she says, while he didn't look surprised by this, and he didn't even care. It won't matter. Because whoever he sends after you will only die. He can't have you back. And you're not going back to that bastard. You're mine. You're my property. And you are going to realize that once I break you, he says coldly as she flinched. You are going to kill him, aren't you? She asked. Considering what he did to me and how he abandoned me just like you did. He deserves death. He answered. Please give Minato a chance to make things right with you. What about your brother and sister? You wouldn't kill them, would you? She pleaded, which made him scowl. He had his chance. He doesn't care about me, all he cares is about that damn prophecy that toad idiot Jiraiya claims. And has long groomed both Menma and Naruto while you and him just left me out of it. Isolating me from their training. Giving them all the attention in the world as if they are Kami's blessed children. Yes, I am angry at both of my brother and sister. Naruto may have isolated herself from me and never wronged me in any way, but she's guilty too. I might not even kill her. As for Menma, that asshole righteously deserves my wrath for all the shit he put me through. Naruto snarled with his 6 eyes narrowing at her, making her wince as tears shed from her eyes. Please, Naruto. I beg of you. Give them a chance. Please spare them and show them mercy. She pleaded, screaming with her tears flowing. She doesn't want him to kill his brother or even harm his sister. She wants them all to be happy again. She wants them to be a family again. As killer intent flooded the room. Mercy. You want me to show mercy to my asshole of a brother who treated me like shit. You want me to show mercy to my bastard of a father who doesn't acknowledge me or even thinks I exist because he focuses so much on his prized son and daughter more than his firstborn. He roared in anger, standing up from his position, and walked towards Kushina. You given me merc, she tried to say, but felt a stinging slap to her face from Naruto, as she winced, rubbing her cheek that has been slapped. You think you being a slave to me is mercy? Oh no. That's where you are wrong. Your fate and the punishment that you will pay for will begin very, very soon. The only reason I agreed to make you my slave is to personally get back at your husband for abandoning me and neglecting me. Had Hakushaku-chan not convinced me to take up on this offer, I would have preferred that you would die. He says with malice in his tone as Kushina gasped in horror. And I am afraid that my dark demonic heart has left me cold to ignore your pleas of mercy. So be grateful that you are alive now because of this. He says with a glare and yanked her chain. Hachi-chan, I am taking her to her room. Me and Kushina will be busy, he told his wife, who smiled at him. You go on ahead. Naruto. Me and the kids will take a walk around our village, she says, smiling as she watched him pull Kushina's chain to make her stand up and get up as he gestured her to follow him. Well, that was a productive meeting. Teiko says. Mommy, what's gonna happen to Grandma Kushina? Sadako asked as her mother turned to her with a smile. Well, Sadako. Let's just say that Grandma Kushina is going to get well adjusted to her new life and servitude to our family. So let's go and let your father deal with this, Hachishikuzuma explained to her daughter as she and her kids would leave the castle. Kushina's bedroom. Naruto would lead Kushina to her bedroom, which is a moderate-sized room with a large bed, moderate furniture and such. Is this my room? She asked as he closed the door behind them and locked it. Of course. You're lucky that I don't have you sleeping outside in our courtyard like a dog. But enough about that. Naruto sharpened his claws. Kushina stepped back in fear as he slashed her with them.